Hello everybody and welcome to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. I'm Noah Alvarez, joined by Jared Hall, Victor Vasquez, Ryan Osborne. The whole crew is here tonight for the final home match of Fullerton College's season as they take on the Saddleback College Gauchos. Jared, both these teams aren't necessarily on winning streaks at the end of the year.
Well, I gotta say, the Fullerton College is on a two-game losing streak, and Saddleback's on a 3-game losing streak. But get this, Fullerton is on the verge of a playoff berth, but they need the win badly to get that, while Saddleback wants to finish their season strong.
Yeah, both teams are on losing streaks, as Jared mentioned. Fullerton entering tonight's match 13-10 overall, 8-5 in Orange Empire Conference play. While Saddleback, on the other hand, things could have gone better this season as they're 9-12, 4-9 in Orange Empire Conference play. And for Fullerton, Victor, we were talking with Coach Megan Glennie. All these 3 final regular season games, they matter to this team.
Very much so, Noah. We asked to Coach Glennie directly, considering the fact that they're so close to the playoffs, who are just around the corner. She just wants to let her team know that, look, if we want to have a successful playoff run, we need to win out all these 3 games. So I asked her, do you try to add that pressure during practice? And she's like, look, there's got to be a nice balance. Yes, you want to let them know that, hey, every game matters, but you also don't want to put too much pressure considering they're such a young team. So she feels that her team is ready, and they understand that if they can try to build off of these next 3 games and get victories, they'll be a tough team to face off in the playoffs.
It is a very young team, but they're led by 3 sophomores, and because it's the final regular season game here at Colleen Riley Court, well, it's sophomore night, and we have a little bit of information to share about the sophomores a little bit later in the broadcast as they get escorted onto the court with their families and whatnot. As we break down the Orange Empire Conference standings, both teams being in the Orange Empire Conference, actually, we'll go into the key statistics. As we mentioned, the records for both these teams going into tonight. Fullerton averaging 11.05 kills per set, while Saddleback averaging a little bit higher than them at 11.28. Assists in favor of Fullerton College, 802 compared to Saddleback, 784. Errors, Fullerton College a lot cleaner with the ball handling, 390 errors on the year in comparison to 412 by the Gauchos of Saddleback College. And in the last 10 matches, Fullerton College is 7-3, while Saddleback, on the other hand, they're 3-7. So both teams on opposite ends of the spectrum. Fullerton fighting for a playoff spot, Saddleback fighting just to finish this season strong. As we take you over to now the Orange Empire Conference standings. As we've seen plenty of these teams here at Colleen Riley Court. Irvine Valley College is in the lead, 13-0, a perfect 20-0 overall on the season. Orange Coast College, they're in second place, 10-4. Cypress College had a big win over Fullerton last Wednesday. They are now 9-4 on the year, while Fullerton College now sits in that 4th place spot at a record of 8-5. Golden West College right behind them, 7-6 on the season. Riverside City College at 6th place. They lost last Friday, they beat Fullerton College last Friday. They have a record of 6-8. As we get you ready for the sophomores on this team as they get announced on here at Colleen Riley Court. And why don't we start, Victor, with the only player to actually return from last year's team in Sam Longstreet. She plays middle backer for this position, middle blocker, and she's a biology major. She was going to be escorted by her mother, Sophia Longstreet, father, Kevin Longstreet, her 2 brothers, Kevin and Husan, her sister, Victoria, along with her nephew and her aunt. Her future plans are to move on to the 4U university level and go to school to become a veterinarian. A lot of fun calling Sam Longstreet name this season. We're going to send it to the stadium here at Colleen Riley Court as they get announced for the sophomores.
Position on the team, libero, major criminal justice. Her family members with her tonight, her father Jeff and mother Alex. Future plans after Fullerton College, continue playing volleyball at a 4-year university and get my degree and become a future federal or FBI agent. and play every game like it's your last. Mindset is what separates the best from the rest. Number 17, Sailor Fruit. Position outside hitter. Major business management. And she's here with her mother, Kristen. Future plans after Fullerton College, continue playing volleyball at a 4-year university. Advice to future players. Don't let failure define you, because it's not a negative thing if you learn from it. Sophomore Sailor Fruit. Next up, number 14, Samaria Longstreet. Position on her team, middle blocker, major biology. And she has an entourage here tonight with her. Her mother, Sophia, father Kevin, brother Kevin Jr., brother Hassan, sister Victoria, nephew Carson Hector, and Aunt Cheryl Locke. Her future plans, play at a 4-year university and become a veterinarian. Advice to future players, don't be afraid of success. Love what you do and do it for a purpose. Never take anything or any moment for granted, because nothing lasts forever. Never lose sight of the reason why you do what you do. Never let anything step in the way of your dreams. And most importantly, when coach asks you if you want to double or nothing, it's a trick question. It must be an inside joke. All right, sophomore Samaria Longstreet. We thank all of our sophomores and their family members for being here tonight. And now, if you could all please rise, face the American flag, remove your caps, and honor America for the singing of our national anthem by our very own Taylor Livingston.
Welcome back here to Colleen Riley Court on the campus of Fullerton College for tonight's volleyball match between Saddleback College and the Hornets of Fullerton College. Noah Alvarez joined by Jared Hall and Victor Vasquez. Not to forget Ryan Osborne as well on the call. The gang's all here for tonight's final regular season home match for these Hornets team as we get you the starters and the head coaches for both teams. Fullerton's led by second-year head coach Megan Glennie. She played libero for Cal Baptist University before coming to coach at the high school level. Then eventually is also doing double duty here, coaching at the Fullerton College level as well. Her starters, Hannah Tobin, Priscilla Gutierrez will be doing libero. Sophomore Sam Longstreet, Chloe Johnson will be doing the setter duties. Sailor Fruit outside hitter, Faith Webb opposite hitter, and Mackenzie Genstad being the middle back. And for Saddleback College, Victor, I'm going to toss this one over to you. Introduce us the head coach for Saddleback.
Thank you so much, Noah. So yes, the coach for Saddleback Gauchos is Coach Hughes. He's in his 5th season with the Gauchos. He was able to help them get to the playoffs in the 2016 and 2017 season. Last year, bit of a rough start. They went 8-14 last year, so he's just looking to try to improve, and he understands that his team is a very young team as well, and he's just looking to try to improve and help them understand the importance of finishing strong and just being a good character on the court and off the court.
We'll get you the starters for the Gauchos in just a second. As doing the libero duties, sophomore Shay Savoy. She's from Alberta, Canada. The sophomore doing the libero duties. Ellie Groh will be the freshman setter out of Elisa Niguel High School. Sophia Bezos, the freshman out of San Clemente, will be also getting in the action. Outside hitter, Ronnie Robinson from Enterprise, Utah. Then Ireland Riddle will be doing the middle blocker duties. She's a sophomore out of San Clemente High School. Samantha Dewar, she's a sophomore opposite hitter for this team. She's out of Laguna Hills High School. Camelani Carrera, she's the 5'11" freshman out of Capistrano Valley. She's going to also be playing a little bit of middle blocker as well. And then Cassidy Atchison, the freshman out of El Toro High School, will also be doing opposite hitter duties in tonight's match. And as Victor said, they're led by 5th-year head coach Brian Hughes. He's turned over some programs from the high school level, starting with Villa Park High School, my alma mater, and then Northwood High School in Irvine. He also played for Coach Tom Pestalozzi at Irvine Valley College at the tail end of the 90s, first year of 2000. So he has a good experience when it comes to role models and coaches.
He really does, Noah, and that's something that he tries to instill in his players every single day during practice, letting them know that they have to try to develop as volleyball players, but not only volleyball players, but also as, characters outside the court in order to, help them be human beings and grow as they grow up in the real world.
Yeah, Tom Pestalozzi, we saw him a few weeks ago, Ryan and I did, with that Irvine Valley team. They're still undefeated, 20-0 on the year, 13-0 in Orange Empire Conference play. They currently hold that #1 spot in the Orange Empire Conference. They have the #1 spot, too, in the latest CCC WVCA Women's Volleyball rankings as of November 12th. Right behind them from the Orange Empire Conference is Orange Coast. They have a record of 17-5. They're currently ranked 16th, while Cypress, they're ranked 22nd in the state rankings. And Fullerton, just on the end, ranked 24 after 2 straight losses, losing the last 4 out of 5. They were riding an 8-game win streak, Vector. Let's see if they can recapture some of that magic they had in the middle of the season.
And that's something that Coach Glennie also just reminds her girls, is that she wants to regain that type of momentum that they had during those 8 games away from Colleen Riley Court. So they want to try to find that success again as the playoffs are just around the corner.
As Longstreet gets it started, the sophomore out of Lakewood, she pounds it right to the ground. Hornets up 1-0.
Well, that sure was quite a hit to get them off guard to start the game.
Yes, indeed, as Faith Webb will be serving for the Hornets to start off the match. She has 36 service aces on the season, which is good for 3rd in the Orange Empire Conference. Freshman out of Yorba Linda. She has a variety of serves, too, as the 2 teams play it back and forth. Both teams very young. We're talking with Coach Brian Hughes, wants his team to get better as far as the ball handling goes. Doing good so far as both teams rallying back and forth. This one's Dinosaur digged out, and unable to get this one is Carrera. Point for the Hornets.
And a nice rally at that.
Yeah, you love when you see both teams rallying back and forth, ball handling well. It creates nice flow in the volleyball game.
Yep, agreed.
A reminder, you are listening to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. Noah Alvarez joined by Victor Vasquez, Jared Hall, and Ryan Osborne. As here's Sailor Frew. She tries to spike this one. Defense for Saddleback was ready. Longstreet wearing that knee brace, and she picks up the kill for the Hornets as they go up 3-0 in this first set.
Well, that really killed the spirit for Saddleback, probably.
Good one there, Jared, as Cassidy Atchison, Shay Savoy, Ellie Groh, Ronnie Robinson, Ireland Riddell, Kamalani Carrera, and Samantha Dewar, 6 on the floor for the Gauchos. This one's going to be long. point for the Gauchos as they now trail 3-1 here in this first set.
And definitely not a good serve on that part.
Shea Savoy will be serving. Sophomore out of Canada, Alberta to be specific. Wearing the black uniform, she's the libero for this Gauchos team. A floating serve. Gutierrez hits the deck. Hornets able to get this one across. Now there's a campfire as Riddell spikes this home. 3-2 now is the score in this third set in favor of Fullerton.
And that was quite a way to catch Fullerton off guard.
Fullerton in their blue uniforms, white stripes down the side of their jerseys, blue shorts, while Saddleback is in their red, white stripe down the middle of their jerseys. They're in their black shorts, white sneakers, both teams. Johnson setting it up for Frew, and right in between Groh and Atchison, and neither player can handle it. Point for the Hornets, 4-2.
Okay, that was quite a way to get back in the game.
Now it'll be Samantha Swanson in to serve as she checks in for Sam Longstreet. Swanson, here's her jump serve. Fullerton leading 3-1 here in this first set, 4-2. Webb with the backcourt attempt, and this one is going to be long point for the Gauchos.
Oh, my goodness.
Longstreet going to check back in, only to be subbed out by the libero Priscilla Gutierrez. Sophomore for sophomore, the other sophomore, Sailor Frew, on the court as well. It's sophomore night here at Colleen Riley Court. We had a wonderful ceremony for the three sophomores on the Hornets. As this one, Genstad going to pick it up as she aims for that back left corner and picks up the point for the Hornets.
And that was a nice aim from them indeed.
5-3, the Hornets lead on the first set. Here's Johnson to serve now for the Hornets. This one, it's going to be bombed by the Gauchos as they pick up a point, 5-4. It was deflected off one of the Hornets' frontline defenders as they went up for the block.
And a big red bomb for Fullerton on that one.
So here's Ronnie Robinson, the sophomore out of Enterprise, Utah. She's second in the Orange Empire Conference, second to Sailor Frew, with 286 kills on the season. So we're seeing the two best statistically outside hitters in the Orange Empire Conference. Go head-to-head here as Genstad gets this one partially deflected, but it's going to be a point for the Hornets.
Well, the point for Gauchos was denied.
Frew now to serve.
Another thing also Noah and Jared you got to look out for is the battle for the serves. Last time Fullerton faced off against the Gauchos, Gauchos actually had 9 aces.
Here it is for Robinson. Hornets are able to recover. Here's Webb. That one was partially blocked. It's a late call. They're going to call the fourth hit violation. And it looked like from our angle it did hit the top of the net. So it'll be a point for the Gauchos. Hornets lead 6-5.
That sure stinks for Fullerton.
Now Ireland Riddell serving for the Gauchos. They trail 6-5. It's an Orange Empire Conference match. Johnson over to Tiffany, the freshman out of Whittier Christian. She's getting a lot of playing time in recently. And this one's going to go behind the antenna, the tap there by Atchison. So it'll be a point for the Hornets. They lead now 7-5 as Longstreet checks back in for Gutierrez.
Nice way to get back in the game.
Genstad, Frew, Johnson, Webb, Tiffany, and Longstreet, the 6 on the floor for the Hornets. Here's Genstad, the freshman out of Troy. Savoy unable to save this one, and another point for the Hornets. They go up 8-5 in this first set.
Well, nice way to go for Fullerton to get back into the swing of things.
You are listening to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. The Hornets take on the Gauchos of Saddleback College with their final home game on the season as this one's tapped over by Robinson from the backcourt. Now Longstreet tapping it back to the Gauchos. Hornets on the attack. This one's going to be wide left as Tiffany can't get that one to fall inbounds. Point for the Gauchos. It ends a 3-0 run for the Hornets.
Noah, you like the idea by Tiffany. Try to go cross court on that one and try to split the defenders in there, but just too strong.
Now serving will be Ellie Groh, one of the top setters here in the Orange Empire Conference, third in the conference with 689 assists. As this one, Tiffany can't dig this one out properly. Point for the Gauchos. They now trail 8-7 to the Hornets.
Noah, you got to think, usually Longstreet has those advantages in those joust and jump balls, but don't know if the injury is kind of causing her that trouble to not get off the ground as quick as she used to.
Hard serve there by Groh. This one's blocked. Gutierrez slaps this one over, keeps it alive for the Hornets as they get it across. Here's Atchison. This one, 4-hit violation on the Hornets. So now that brings the score even. 8-8 is the score between the Gauchos and the Hornets here at Colleen Riley Court. Groh still serving, the freshman out of Elisa Niguel High School. This serve is short, and it'll be a point for the Hornets. They go up 9-8.
That serve was denied.
Denied it was indeed.
Noah and Jared, even though I did mention that Saddleback had 9 aces the first time they faced Fullerton, they actually had 11 service faults as well. So, you live and die by that serve.
And you see the emphatic slam there by Carrera from the middle blocker position. She went up with 2 hands and threw it down with some force.
Nice.
9-9 is the score here.
And a slam dunk.
Things all tied up here in the first set. Cassidy Atchison, as Johnson tries to dump this one over on the second touch. The Gauchos were prepared. Webb gets this one blocked. She dinosaur digs it out. Gutierrez hits the deck. Now Webb. Both teams tied 9-9 as Gutierrez keeps this one alive for the Hornets. Setting it up for Robinson. Robinson, this one's going to catch the floor before Frew can get to it. Gauchos have their first lead of the evening. 10-9 is the score.
Ooh, Frew was close, but not close enough on that one.
Frew does a little bit of everything for this team. She's first in kills per set, but she's also second in digs on the season.
And
Third.
did I forget to mention that she's also leading the team in points with 348 coming into this one?
The leading scorer for the Hornets as this one's going to hit the deck. Hornets unable to corral this one. They now trail 11-9. Gauchos mustering up a run right here. Still Cassidy Atchison to serve. This one partially shanked. Longstreet's going to get this one over, but it's a free play now for the Gauchos. Hornets into their play set. Longstreet hits the deck. Frew gets this one over. You'd love to see the hustle here by both teams as this one, it's going to be a point for the Hornets as they call Saddleback with the push.
And that's how Fullerton pushes that back into the game.
Gauchos up 11-10.
Now, Noah and Jared, you got to love the hustle that Longstreet is doing. Even with that brace on her right knee, she's still diving on it, just putting it all on the line. She's already got 2 kills so far in this first set.
A reminder later in the broadcast, in between sets, we'll give you our all Orange Empire Conference teams. Both Victor Vasquez and I jotted down the players that we thought were best on the season here in the Orange Empire Conference. The Gauchos have an 11-10 to lead over the Hornets here in this first set. Longstreet powers it through the double block. It's a point for the Hornets. They bring it back even, 11 all.
And a nice one from Longstreet, too.
You're right, Jared. I mean, she's providing that sense of energy and kind of confidence that this team kind of lacked in their last week's matchup.
Speaking of energy, we have a lot of good crowd turnout here tonight at Colleen Riley Court. See a couple of the football players supporting the fellow student athletes here at Fullerton College.
Wow.
Longstreet reaches over the net and powers this one down. She picks up another point for the Hornets. 12-11 is the score.
Those are the things that I was mentioning earlier, is that she, in Samaria Longstreet, just has a knack for just jumping at the right place, and she's the first person up there kind of tip that ball down.
Yeah, her court awareness is second to none here in the Orange Empire Conference in that middle blocker position. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but I guarantee you she's on my all Orange Empire Conference list.
I am not surprised.
And she also has 228 points on the teams coming into this one.
Webb picks up another point for the Hornets. That's a service ace as they go up now 13-11 here midway through the first set. Back-to-back service aces for Faith Webb as she's feeling it.
The Webb is really feeling it.
Guys, it's already third service ace for Fullerton so far in this first set.
Webb, the freshman out of Yorba Linda High School. Jump serve. This one's going to be just long. Point for the Gauchos. Ends a 4-0 run for the Hornets.
And they're up 14-12 as of this upcoming serve.
Back to the top of the order, top of the rotation for the Gauchos. Shea Savoy. The libero wearing the black uniform. That's a joust in the middle, and they're going to call a point for the Hornets. Is there a violation there by the Gauchos? And you see head coach Brian Hughes not too happy with that call, speaking with the down referee, Mel Cayetano. Up referee in tonight's match, Camille Valenzuela. And that's going to force Coach Hughes to call a timeout. His Gauchos trail this one to the Hornets 15-12 midway through the first set. You are listening to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. Noah Alvarez joined by Ryan Osborne, Jared Hall, Victor Vasquez for tonight's match. Fullerton has to win these games. They have to win out for the rest of the season to guarantee that playoff spot, Victor.
No, they do have to win, but you got to love something that Coach Glennie has been able to consistently tell us every time we talk to her during the pregame is that she just wants her girls to have fun and to try to grow and improve night in and night out. And she tries to instill it in them during practice to kind of, okay, we got to be competitive, but you also got to try to learn how to become volleyball players as well. So she tries to add as much pressure as she can, and she understands that she has the confidence in her ladies that they know that they need to win these next 3 games.
Yeah, and they've grown a lot since that first time we've come out in that match against Santa Monica. They were more of a defensive team then. Now they have a lot more offensive weapons. They're able to get their pass into play sets a little easier now. There's a little bit more fluidity in the offense. And you see a lot of freshmen, whether it's Hannah Tobin, Mackenzie Genstad, both Chloe Johnson, and Karen Delgadillo. All 4 of them have really improved and have played significant minutes for a relatively young team, Fullerton College, that Megan Glennie is working with. But a lot of these players, especially the freshmen, have improved since that first time we came out and watched them.
Game on.
After the timeout, the Hornets bring out Swanson, Webb, Tobin, Johnson, Genstad, and Frew, the lone sophomore out there for the Hornets. Here's Robinson for the Gauchos. Digged out by Frew. This one, Frew can't get to it as it was tailing outside of the antenna. She tried to punch it into the field of play, can't do so. Gauchos pick up a point. Score is now 15-13 in favor of the Hornets.
And Jared and Noah, in that previous play, you see Robinson for the Gauchos give off that off-speed shot twice, kind of had the defense on their heels, let the Gauchos win that point.
Changing things up is the sophomore outside hitter. Serving now is Samantha Dewar, a sophomore opposite hitter for this Gauchos team. They trail 15-13 in this first set midway through. This one gonna land inbounds, and that was Robinson picking up the kill there for the Gauchos.
Nice way to get the kill for Robinson because, one, she actually is the leading in points with a point total of 324 for the Saddleback team.
Dewar still serving for the Gauchos. Robinson mixing things up. Change of pace. Frew, cut shot there. It looks like it hit off the side of her hand. Nonetheless, it's still going to work for the Hornets. They pick up another point. 16-14 is the score.
Add another point to her 350 plus now.
They came in as the leading scorer in the Orange Empire Conference. in the top 15 in the state, 12th to be exact. Here's Robinson. This one, dinosaur digged out by Tiffany, and Frew gonna push this one over. You see Robinson getting it over quickly on the first touch for the Gauchos. This one can be digged out by Atchison, so it's a point for the Hornets. They go up 17-14 in this first set.
Frew is really killing it, apparently, with those.
She really is, Jared. I mean, in the previous shot, like Noah mentioned, glanced that ball off the side of her palm, was able to have a nice cutting shot. Now on this one, adds the variety and tries to clobber that one right by the defender.
I'm sure if we asked her after the game, did she mean to do that? She'll probably try and play it off as she did, as this one's going to be out of bounds. The attempt there by Robinson. It'll be a point for the Hornets, 18-14. She'll tell us that it was planned, but
Then again, Robinson is like their star player with the points, apparently.
She is the second leading kill getter in the Orange Empire Conference. Here's Johnson. Over to Tiffany, the freshman from Whittier Christian High School, getting in on the action. 19-14 Hornets lead, and that's going to force Coach Brian Hughes to call another timeout for his Gauchos as they trail by 5 here towards the end of this first set. You are listening to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. Noah Alvarez joined by Ryan Osborne, Jared Hall, Victor Vasquez. The gang's all here at this tiny table here at Colleen Riley Court. Hornets currently lead 19-14 over the Gauchos. We've seen a lot of action by both teams, kind of back and forth. We'll see if Saddleback can bounce back after this timeout and pick up the pace.
No, it has been going back and forth for the Gauchos. It's no surprise. You mentioned it before this game even started. Robinson, the outside hitter from Enterprise, Utah, she has 286 kills before coming into this game, and she's just adding that variety that's fooling the defense of the Hornets at times. She sometimes goes off pace and bombs it right there to get like a nice little campfire. Then other times she goes full swing and just no mercy on that ball. So hopefully Gauchos can try to not only give it to her, but also find these other opposite hitters on the Gauchos, such as Dewar and Atchison.
And she has 204 digs, apparently.
The Gauchos entered tonight's match 9-12 overall in the season, 4-9 in Orange Empire Conference play. Robinson, one of the more talented outside hitters in this Orange Empire Conference. We've seen her mix things up, and, you know, again, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but I didn't include her just because we haven't seen Saddleback at all this season. But I may have to reconsider. I'll maybe do an honorable mention list and include her on that. Both teams rallying back and forth. Fullerton has a 19-14 lead here towards the tail end of the first set. Genstad pushes this one right to the vacant spot by the Gauchos. They lead 20-14.
And, well, I got to say, having two of the big high-scoring players in the OEC makes it very more exciting.
Very exciting, Noah and Jared. I mean, Genstad on that one, having the great court awareness to know that there's nobody on the left side of the court, tips that one down.
Here's Johnson, and she's going to pick up the point. Service ace for her. Fourth by the Hornets already here in this first set. They are now up 21-14 here over the Saddleback Gauchos. Fullerton currently in 4th place in this Orange Empire Conference. They're on a 2-game losing streak, losing the last 4 out of 5 after going on an 8-game win streak. Final home game of the year as the Gauchos bounce back and pick up another point. That ends a 6-0 run for the Hornets. They still lead 21-15 in this first set.
You know, if they actually give the ball to Robinson a little more, Gauchos could get back in this game if they want to win.
Ronnie Robinson now serving for the Gauchos. Freshman from Utah. Enterprise, Utah, to be exact. This one going to be too long for the Gauchos. The Hornets pick up another point. They now go up 22-15 in this first set.
Now, if the Fullerton Hornets want to keep the pace, they need to give it to not just Frew, but also give it to Swanson as well, or better yet, Longstreet.
Here's Sailor Frew as she looks to close out the set for the Hornets. They lead 22-15 over the Gauchos. Robinson with the backcourt attack. This one hits off the ceiling. And this one, Robinson can't handle that one. Another point for the Hornets, 23-15, as that one ricocheted off her fist.
Not only did it ricochet, it almost seemed like it ricocheted off of 2 different defenders on that one. So that just shows you the speed that that ball came off of the hand of Webb.
Frew still serving. Can the Gauchos get this one over? They do in 3 hits as well. As Jenstead now getting it over for the Hornets. Teams rallying back and forth. Hornets lead 23-15. Still in the first set here at Colleen Riley Court. Frew with the backcourt attack, and there's a campfire by the Saddleback Gauchos. They're all gathering around, bringing out their s'mores. No one can get to this one. Hornets now lead 24-15.
Very delicious point for the Fullerton Hornets as well.
I got the chocolate.
You guys are starting to make me hungry now.
Who's got the marshmallows? Frew sends this one a little too long. Point for the Gauchos. Hornets still lead 24-16 in this first set.
But keep in mind, it's only the game point, and it's only game 1.
Set 1, Jared is correct. Ireland Riddell to serve now for the Gauchos. Sophomore out of San Clemente High School. Hornets lead 24-16. Here's Carrera. Now the Hornets. Webb. She angles this one. This one's going to go too long. Good court awareness there by Frew as she lets this one land out of bounds. And the Hornets win this first set by a final score of 25-16. You are listening to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. Noah Alvarez joined by Victor Vasquez, Jared Hall, Ryan Osborne. Can't forget Corey Nalen, Mark Pavlovich too.
Don't forget those 2.
As it's been an entertaining match thus far, and we're only in the first set.
Yep, going into set number 2, Fullerton looks like they have the advantage, but as we saw the last 2 games, they kind of slipped away the next three sets, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes.
Yeah, interesting enough, those last 2 games against Cypress last Wednesday and then Riverside City College last Friday, Fullerton College won those first sets, then went on to lose the next 3 as they lost to Cypress in 4, then lost to Riverside City in 4.
And Noah and Jared, that's something that Coach Glennie alluded to us in the pregame, letting us know that, hey, our team always starts off right off the blocks. They get that first set victory, but then all of a sudden, something happens in that second, third, and then fourth set where their momentum kind of either dips or something of a kind of a lapse in focus. And that's something that she's been trying to let her players know that, hey, just because we win the first set does not mean that we're going to be winning this match as easy as it sounds. So she's going to try to let them know, hey, let's just forget that we won that first set and continue to play hard as we've been playing all year long.
And one of those areas that Megan Glennie's really emphasizing, along with Philip Tomachich and Cecilia Aragao, the assistant coaches here at Fullerton College, they're really trying to get those servicing a little bit better here for Fullerton. On the season, they have 153 service aces, which is good for 4th in the conference, but they lead the conference with 196 service errors, so they have to clean it up a little bit. Sometimes they get a little too cute. We see sometimes in that first set, there was 2 service errors by the Hornets there. They could be a decent serving team. Their strength is still in receiving the serves, but they need to clean it up a little bit on the service end.
And that's something, Noah, that I think Coach Glennie has been telling us since we first came out, the first game of the season, that we were able to broadcast, is that the serving is something that constantly needs to improve because it provides so much support for your offense, and it puts the defense in a precarious position that'll hopefully lead you to get an easy point or set up your attack.
And speaking of broadcast, if you're a student out there listening, a student athlete, or just someone who wants a change of pace in their career, be sure to check out the CRTV 145 class at Fullerton College. Megan Glennie, fortunate enough to let us broadcast her games here at Colleen Riley Court for Fullerton College. You get experience behind the microphone, get experience behind the camera, in front of the camera as well too. It's a great program overall for all of us, and I think I speak for all of us, that we've learned a lot through the course of the semester. And
did I forget to mention, last time these teams played each other, it was October 11th on a Friday afternoon, which, by the way, Fullerton won the set 3-1 after losing the first set first set 25-21. They went on to win the next three 25-20, 25-19, and 25-22 to win the whole match. That's the last time these two teams played each other.
It's been quite some time since these last two teams played each other.
As the second set is about to begin. Now it's going to be the Gauchos side out to start. They're looking to get off of a better start than they had in that first set. As Kringle now in the game for the Gauchos. And it's Longstreet starting it off by pounding one right down the middle.
5th kill on the evening for Longstreet, the sophomore out of Lakewood High.
That's add 5 more kills to her kill streak from 169 into tonight.
You got that right, Jared, as Fullerton strikes first in this second set. Faith Webb, who had 2 aces in that first set, trying to continue a strong service game. As the Gauchos now finding Robinson, who slams that ball down.
They really need to keep an eye on Robinson the most if they want to win this next set.
Great point, Jared, as Robinson already has 4 kills on the night. Now it's going to be Riddell serving for the Gauchos. As Sailor Frew from the far side of the court gets the deflection and another point for Fullerton.
It's a good call there by Camila Valenzuela, the up referee. From our angle, it looked like it tapped the antenna, but that one just tapping the neck, just grazing it. Point for the Hornets.
The score is 2-1 in this second set as Samantha Swanson coming in to serve for the Hornets. Now it's going to be Groh giving off to Carrera with the left hand, but Fullerton was ready. And now it's going to be a point for the Gauchos as it was going to be called as a 4-hit violation.
You just hate to see that happen.
Yeah, it looked like Genstad took her approach a little too far from the net. So you got to change up the angle you hit that one at, and she hits the top of the net, doesn't get it over into the block, and that's why it's a point for the Gauchos.
Afraid so.
Score is tied 2-2. Dewar for the Gauchos serving. Now Genstad gets her shot rejected back to her side. Point for the Gauchos.
Good block there by Carrera, the first one on the evening for her.
With a little assistance from Robinson, it looked like.
She stands at 5'11", too, so she brings very similar presence that you see with Longstreet and the Hornets.
Dewar coming in with 22 aces as she gets another one for the Saddleback College. Now they're up by 2, 4-2.
Another serve coming up.
And as Dewar sends it over, tries to float it in. Now it's going to be a joust. Ball still in play as Fru's shot gets rejected, but it goes out of bounds.
Carrera has been big already early on in this second set as she's picked up her second block on the evening.
As we have Nicole Tiffany checking in for the Hornets. On the court, we have Tiffany, Genstad, Fru, Gutierrez, Webb, and serving is Chloe Johnson. As she's able to get it over. Now Groh with the back set right over to Carrera, and the pancake by Gutierrez keeps the rally alive. As Robinson now with the off-speed shot gets that one to count as it ended up touching the floor before any defender could even get it.
Looks like we were going to have back-to-back pancakes there, but Johnson just can't get to that one. I was ready to bring my syrup, though.
I'm hungry.
I get the feeling that Noah and Jared are both hungry. They keep bringing up food.
Yeah.
As the Gauchos are up 5-3 in this second set. Johnson setting up for the middle to Genstad, but the Gauchos ready. And now Gutierrez setting up Fru. As Gauchos were scrambling, they were to bump it over. Now Tiffany having to give a free play over to Saddleback. And a bad placement by Groh gives the point to Fullerton.
Didn't grow on that one, I bet.
Hey, Jared, now you're coming up with them. I mean, I don't know if we're excited because it's the last home game that we're going to do. I don't know what it is, but.
No, I just am enthusiastic.
It's bittersweet.
Exactly. As the Gauchos are still up 5-4. Groh sets up the back row attack for Robinson, but she stuffs that one right into the net.
And we've seen 2 times now in a row, if you're Grow, you want to get that ball a little bit better placement as far as that way your attacker, whether it's from the back court or on the front court, they don't have to stop their momentum. So you want to be able to pass that ball a little sooner, a little bit cleaner of a pass.
As the Gauchos having to bump that one over to give the Hornets a free play. Now it's going to be Atchison. Tries to attack the back row of the Hornets. And Faith Webb slams that one down the line.
Like she was surfing the web on that one.
I mean, Jared, now I'm intrigued for every other play because I want to see what's going to come next as the Hornets are up by 1, 6-5. Sailor Frew serving. And now it's going to be the Gauchos sending it over. Carrera right there. Able to power tip that one to get the point and tie this second set up 6-all. As now it's going to be Savoy for the Gauchos serving. Very tight second set. As Savoy with the jump serve. Had a nice dip on it. As to Tiffany's strike. Ends up getting stuffed as the rally continues. And now it's a far side attack by Webb. But her shot gets blocked. Point for the Gauchos.
They're actually going to call a 4th hit violation as it hit the top of the net. Hornets tried to play it like as if it was blocked, but the referee, Camille Valenzuela, made the right call there.
Oops for the Hornets on that one.
As Savoy serving up, now she floats it in and gets it right next to the net on that one, and Gutierrez unable to respond.
And you'd like to see better communication from the Hornets. Gutierrez came from that back court. All the front court players in Fullerton kind of just standing and watching that one. Gutierrez had to make a late dive attempt to get it.
Yep.
Saddleback up by 2, 8-6 in this second set. As Savoy continues to serve, giving variety to the Hornet defense. As it's an attack now by Webb, and her shot gets rejected again by the wall of the Gauchos, and they have a 3-point lead now in this second set.
And quite a turnaround in this one, too.
So Savoy continuing to serve as the Gauchos are up 9-6. Placing the ball in spots that are making the Hornet defense uncomfortable. As Faith Webb having to punch it over. And now Grow with a nice quick set. Genstad is there to dismiss the attack.
That's Genstad's first block on the evening, and we didn't get a chance to ask Savoy. She's from Canada. Little interesting. It would have been nice to catch up with her before the game. Ask her, hey, how did you choose Saddleback College, of all places, coming from the state of Alberta in Canada up north?
As there's a let ball, and it's going to be a service ace for the Hornets.
Genstad's on a roll for the Hornets.
And I forgot to mention that, well, that's a nice serve right there.
Very much so. As Genstad serving once more. As Grow is able to tip that ball over. But now it's going to be a back row attack for the Hornets. And now it's going to be Roberson. As Longstreet comes back in, she gets her shot blocked. And now Tiffany ends up getting blocked by the net on that one. Another point for the Gauchos.
Oh, that pesky net really gets in the way of everyone.
Right.
And that's where you want to see Tiffany take that approach a little bit closer to the net. That way she has a better angle on hitting it downwards instead of hitting it parallel.
As Grow now quickly serving. Gauchos are up by 2, 10-8. As Grow now sets it up for Robertson and couldn't get a good hand on that. She ends up tipping the ball. Doesn't go over.
Looked like she second-guessed herself on the way up. She wanted to power it down, but then it was like, let me do a little finesse shot. Rolls off her fingertips, and she doesn't get a good clean hit on that one.
She didn't get her soft touch on that one, apparently.
Gauchos are still up 10-9 in this second set as Nicole Tiffany for the Hornets now serving. Sends it to the back row as Grow tries to push it off, ends up lifting it, violation against the Gauchos.
Yeah, good call there by the up referee, Camille Valenzuela. Pretty obvious that one. She didn't want to, I think Longstreet was already, we've seen her make it that play so many times on the season where she penetrates over the net, puts both her hands down and slams it to where no one from the other team can get to it. Grow tried to prevent it, but in doing so lifts the ball.
As the rally continues now for both teams as Faith Webb rises up. And Robinson's able to bump it over and keep the Gauchos alive. But Longstreet has different answer on that one as she sneaks that one right by the defense.
And you can feel her presence. It's a little different kind of energy with this Fullerton team when Longstreet's out there playing. Already 6 kills. We're barely halfway through this second set.
6 kills, wow.
As the Hornets are up by 1 once more in the second set, 11-10. As in this nice little rejection by Longstreet.
Off the ceiling on that one.
As Webb goes for the back row, but Savoy is there. Ball is still in play. As another miss hit by the Gauchos costs them a point.
And if we had instant replay, I would want to go back to that Longstreet where she just hung in the air. Seemed like forever. Because as Grow went up for the kill, she floats to this one, and Longstreet had the hang time just to hang that over. That's special kind of talent right there.
It is talent.
As another point this time for the Gauchos as Longstreet ended up touching the net on that one. So now Gauchos cutting it up by 1 as we have a substitution. We see Kringle coming in for Robertson. She's going to serve now as the Gauchos are down by 1, 12-11 in this second set. Kringle has 3 aces so far coming into the season. As it's a far side attack by Webb, and the nice little soft touch shot gets the Fullerton Hornets a point.
It was soft.
The score now is 13-11 in this second set. Fullerton is up by 2. As they're cleaning up some of the spots on the hardwood.
Got to keep it clean.
And now the score remains 13-11 in this second set. Faith Webb serving. She had 2 aces in the first set. She's able to send it over. Now it's a far side attack by Riddle, and Riddle responds right back with a nice dump shot for the Gauchos.
Good awareness there by Riddle, too, as you see. We've seen it over and over with the Fullerton Hornets defense whenever they get into their defensive set. If you can get it and dump it over that double block, there's no one usually there to cover that.
As Riddle now serving for the Gauchos. Through with a quick strike down the line for another point for Fullerton.
And Fullerton calls a timeout, it sounds like. Or maybe not.
Not yet, Jared, as they're currently with a 2-point lead in this second set.
Sorry.
Samantha Swanson now serving. Swanson able to get it over. And now it's Carrera with the left hand. Gets the deflection off of Genstad for a Saddleback point.
And it was the way Carrera hit it with her left hand. She was able to push it across and diagonal it towards it. As it hits off Genstad, no chance for it to go back into the net because of that angle that she hits.
As we have Dewar serving for the Gauchos. Dewar with a nice short serve. Now it's Genstad who gets blocked by the barricade of the Gauchos as the rally continues now. Now it's going to be a miscommunication, free attack for the Gauchos, and now Tobin ends up running into one of her teammates, Chloe Johnson, and they're unable to respond.
And it's an even game all over again.
Exactly right, Jared, as it's 14-14.
Pretty unfortunate for Johnson, too. Tobin was at her feet. She had no choice but to not be able to go after that one.
We have Dewar, Robinson, Savoy, Carrera, Grow on the court for the Gauchos. As Carrera tips that one over. And now Frew with another finesse shot, but ends up going out of bounds.
It looked like Grow may have lifted that one too. Camille Valenzuela, the up referee in tonight's match, didn't see it, but from our angle, it looked like she lifted that one up.
It did look like she lifted it.
As it's Dewar continuing to serve. Johnson setting up far side attack for Sailor Fru, but good defense by the Gauchos. And it leads to a great offense by Robinson as she gets the point for the Gauchos. Now it's going to be a timeout for the Hornets as they're going to discuss things over. The score is 16-14 in this second set between the Saddleback Gauchos and the Fullerton Hornets. You're watching 90.1 KBPK. My name is Victor Vasquez, alongside Jared Hall, Noah Alvarez, and Ryan Osborne. Noah, Jared, it's been very back and forth between these two teams. Who do you feel like has that momentum currently at this moment in this second set?
Well, if I look at it closely, it turns out Saddleback kind of has the momentum from the looks of it. Because, like we've seen before, Fullerton wins the first set and then loses the next three, the last two games. So, but you may never know what'll happen, because it's a new game, a new night.
Yeah, and the middle blocker for the Gauchos, Carrera, she got the Gauchos off to an early start in the second set, and then Robinson's really taken over towards the middle half. She picked up that last point. She swings her arm with such tenacity and such violence when she gets down. That creates that top spin and creates that force when the ball leaves her hand.
As we have both teams coming back on the court, we have Kringle, Dewar, Savoy, Groh, Carrera, and Robinson on the floor for the Gauchos. And for the Hornets, we have Johnson, Fru, Genstad, Tobin, Webb, and Gutierrez. Saddleback up by 2 in this second set, trying to even things up as Johnson goes for the dump, and it ends up being a campfire against the Gauchos.
That one was partially tipped by Carrera. He thought one of her teammates were going to get it, but little miscommunication there. Confusion for the Gauchos, and it's a point for the Hornets.
As Chloe Johnson now serving for Fullerton. The score is 16-15. And the ball ends up hitting the net. Another service fault. I believe that's the second service fault for Fullerton. As we have a substitution as Robertson comes in for Kringle. It's going to be Robinson for the Gauchos serving. Score is 17-15 in this second set. She goes for a short serve. And now Tiffany comes and hammers that one down for a point for the Hornets.
Yeah, she had a little extra mustard on that one. Too hot to handle for this Gauchos defense.
Yep. It was pretty hot.
As Fullerton is within 1, 17-16 in this second set. Fru sends it to the back row. And now it's a quick set. Carrera trying to get it over, but Fullerton able to bump it back, and it goes out of bounds.
That was good awareness there by Roberson, too. Looked like she was going to hit it. She watched it, and then boom, hits out of bounds.
Very good awareness on the court, too.
And good communication as well, Jared, knowing that your players are behind you saying, don't get it. As Savoy now is serving for Saddleback. They're up by 2 in this second set, 18-16. Savoy with the jump serve, causing some chaos, as it's going to be a free play now for the Gauchos, and Robinson soars in the air and crushes another kill.
Well, she did whack the ball away from the defense on that one.
She really did, Jared, as now the Saddleback up by 3, 19-16. Savoy continuing to add pressure on her serve. She floats one over. Now it's going to be Genstad from the middle, and she gets another point for Fullerton.
Nice way to get back in the game for Fullerton on that one.
And I know Genstad picked up the point for the Hornets, but it seemed like when Savoy's serving for this Gaucho team, they're at their best. That's their go-to server. And she only has 6 service aces entering tonight's game on the season, but she's been really special tonight.
This is the Gauchos now setting it up. Robinson having to quickly try to push that ball over, but could not get there.
Trying to do the finesse shot, but just wasn't there in time.
Was not, Jared. Seemed like a miscommunication, and it's going to be a timeout for Saddleback as they are still up in this second set, 19-18. You're watching Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. Noah, Jared, what are some of the things that Fullerton is trying to successfully doing, at least to try to keep this game close and not allowing Saddleback to increase their lead?
Well, they're trying to put up better defense rather than just offense, because a little variety of offense and defense is what wins the game in the end, right?
Exactly. And Noah, I know you love the serve. Whoever we're watching, really, what can you tell us about Savoy and why, as you mentioned, she only has 6 aces coming into the season, but what do you think is giving her success, against this Fullerton defense?
Well, you've mentioned it. She's used her short serve. She's also used a floating serve, too, in which the ball doesn't have any spin. And those can be tough because it can knuckle, just sort of like a knuckleball from a pitcher in baseball. So sometimes it, cut to the left. Sometimes it'll cut to the right. Sometimes it'll just continue its trajectory and land right in the middle of that Fullerton defense. So you never know where that floating serve is going to land. So she's mixing it up and using them very effectively in tonight's match.
As we continue play here in the second set at Colleen Riley Court. It's a Fullerton side out. Genstad ready to serve. She already has 3 aces in this matchup so far. And it's going to be Riddle with a nice deflection off of the wall of the Fullerton Hornets for another point.
Okay. I think that was a really good way to get the point for the Gauchos.
Yeah, good play after the timeout. Riddell now has 5 kills on the night.
As it's going to be Grove for the Gauchos, who have a 2-point lead in this second set. Long street shot gets stuffed at the net. Not able to return it over. Point for the Gauchos.
Yep, denied on that one.
Now Saddleback with a 3-point lead, 21-18 in this second set. Looking to even up this match as Grove sends it way too long past the baseline. Point for Fullerton.
And Grove's serve is interesting. We don't see too many players, at least in the Orange Empire Conference, use that serve. It's a standing serve, but the angle she's hitting at, she hits it with a lot of force, but she keeps it very low to the net. So looks like she's going for that let ball every time. That one just a little wide right.
Fullerton down by 2, 21-19, as Dewar tries the cross-court shot, but Gutierrez is ready. As Faith Webb is able to get through the penetration of the wall of the Gauchos for another point.
And she tried to get the spike on that one, and she successfully did so somehow.
She did, Jared, as now Fullerton within 1, 21-20. Quick set by Grove. And now it's going to be Longstreet, finds the back row, no defender there, and smacks another kill for Fullerton.
Well, that's a pretty nice way to get out there with the swing, get back in the swing of the game.
Exactly right, Jared, as the set is now tied 21-all. Here comes Riddle, who gets rejected by Johnson. But Riddle gets another chance. She tries the finesse shot, but Fullerton was already ready. Now Riddle with another off-pace shot. As Webb's shot ends up being denied by the Gauchos.
First block on the evening for Riddell. We've seen Carrera pick up some huge blocks. The middles for the Saddleback team, very talented. It's a team that entered tonight's match with 125 blocks on the season. Good for 3rd in the Orange Empire Conference. 1 spot ahead of Fullerton College.
Gauchos are up by 1 as Kringle tries the short serve. And now it's going to be attacked by Longstreet, who just hangs in the air and freezes the defense.
Awareness, hang time. She has the power. She has the finesse shot. She does a little bit of everything for this Hornets team. It's really great to see her back in action in tonight's match.
It really is great to see her back in action.
As the score is tied in this second set, 22-all, as Faith Webb back to serve for the Hornets. And it's going to be a nice little back set to Riddle. And now Frew tries the cutting shot, but seemed like she couldn't get a good angle with that hit.
Seemed like the pass there from Johnson was just a little short, so she didn't get to take off. She actually had to kind of run and then punch that one over instead of going up with their normal approach.
And it's going to be Riddle for the Gauchos now. They're 2 points away from taking this second set. 23-22 is the score as Tobin with a great dig leads to the kill by Frew.
Wow, that really was she got it blasted right there.
She did, Jared, as the score is now tied in this second set, 23 all. Fullerton refusing to go away, knowing what's at stake with these remaining games as Swanson sends it over. Now it's going to be Carrera with the left hand, and she is just finding so much success tipping that ball over.
It seems like Carrera is listening to a lot of Drake. You know, she's got to hit those angles, and she's doing a really nice job of that with her left hand, throwing that Fullerton defense off guard.
As we go to a timeout between these two teams, Saddleback with a game point. The score is 24-23. You're watching Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. My name is Victor Vasquez, alongside Jared Hall, Noah Alvarez, and Ryan Osborne. I'll ask both of you, Noah, Jared, what's the key for Saddleback in order to get this last point to take this first set?
We'll try to catch the defense off guard by putting it in a spot where they're most uncomfortable, for one. And two, if they do get the ball, try to put up as much offense as possible.
And Noah, I'll flip it to you on your to the other side, I guess. What does Fullerton need to do to try to take this second set?
Well, whoever's playing middle or going up for the block for Fullerton, they got to be wary of Carrera, the opposite middle for this team in Saddleback College. He's doing a really nice job of hitting it at an angle, so when you go up for the block, you're going to have to angle towards the direction she's hitting it at, because if you continue to go up parallel with the net, it's just going to deflect into your zone and maybe either roll off or fall on the other side.
As we have both teams back on the court, it's a game point for the Gauchos, 24-23. Ball is in the hands of Dewar. And now, Hornets are going to have to bump it over. Free attack for Saddleback as Robinson with a nice cut shot. And they take this second set 25-23. As we have both sides switching off. Jared, Noah, very similar to what we've seen so far through these last couple of games, especially against Cypress, against Orange Coast, and then against Riverside, where Fullerton takes the first set, and then something changes, and then end up losing that second set. This one a lot closer than the other ones. What can you say that stood out for you guys in that second set?
And that's the thing I was going to say. It's a different set because it was back and forth. We've seen in the previous second sets in which they won the first one and then lost the second. They lost a lot of momentum, and they were very streaky and let the other team go on a big run, which really closed things out against Cypress and Riverside City College back in the second set. But in this set, the biggest difference, too, they have Longstreet. Longstreet's bringing that energy from the middle blocker position. She's healthy enough to play tonight, which has been huge for the Hornets. She has 8 kills on the evening, and she's going up for blocks, too. She has 1 on the evening as well. So she's impacting both offensively and defensively, and her presence in general is just being affected on this by this opposing Saddleback team.
As we're waiting for both teams to come back to start this third set, just to recap, Fullerton ended up taking that first set against the Gauchos. They had a lot of success with their serves. Not many service faults, Noah, that has been going on. I believe they only have either 2 or 3. They actually have 3. Thank you. That's another thing that I see is that they need to continue to improve on that serve if they want to try to get those free points. What about Savoy and her serve as well?
Yeah, the Hornets only have 3 errors on the evening, which is an improvement over the 11 service errors they had the last time they played Saddleback College. Again, even though they had those 11 service errors against Saddleback College, they were able to defeat Saddleback by a final score of 3-1.
As we're still waiting for both teams to come out on the court, tied in this match, 1 set apiece between the Gauchos of Saddleback and the Hornets of Fullerton. We're here at Colleen Riley Court. Last home game for Fullerton. They have 3 games remaining on the season. They face off this Friday against Golden West College, the Rustlers. That'll be an away game. And then November 19th against Santa Ana. That will be the final game of the season. And as me, Noah, and Jared have repeated multiple times, very much high stakes this game and the remaining 2 games as well, if Fullerton wants to kind of carry some momentum and make it into the playoffs as well.
Yeah, fortunately for Fullerton, as they close out the season, when you look at the opposing team records, Golden West and Santa Ana College, towards the bottom half of this Orange Empire Conference, let's just be real. Golden West 13-6 on the year. Fullerton swept them earlier back in the season to extend their streak to 7. They swept them 3-0. Golden West 13-6 on the year, 7-6 on the season. Then Santa Ana, their final game of the season, 5-17, 2-12 in Orange Empire Conference play. So if you're the Hornets, you have that perfect golden opportunity to really catch some momentum, catch some energy, and catch a little bit back of that magic that you had during that 8-game win streak towards the tail end of the season. And it could be a dangerous team here in this postseason if they make it.
Very dangerous as we have both teams on the floor. As I'll reset the lineups for you, it's going to be Frew, Longstreet, Johnson, Gutierrez, Tobin, and Faith Webb for Fullerton.
As we get ready for the 3rd set, both teams tied at 1 set apiece. Fullerton won 25-16 in that first set. Saddleback College took the 2nd set by a final score of 25-23. A reminder, you are watching Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. Saddleback College using a few decoys, and Longstreet gonna blast this one through the Saddleback defense for the first point of the evening. The 6 on the floor for the Gauchos: Ronnie Robinson, Ellie Groh, Shay Savoy, Ireland Riddell, Kamalani Carrera, and Samantha Dewar.
And here comes the next serve.
Faith Webb, the freshman, out of Yorba Linda High School. A cut shot here by Robinson. Fullerton able to respond. Good dig there by Gutierrez as she hits the deck. And this one, a bad first touch, leaves Groh hitting the deck. Can't get to that one for the pass. Another point for the Hornets.
That really was another good hit by Fullerton to catch him off guard.
It's also a good dig by Gutierrez, who was able to save that rally for Fullerton. As there ends up being an ace by Faith Webb and the Hornets. Webb continuing to have success as Fullerton is on top, 3-0 in this 3rd set.
This one is going to be just long for Webb, so that ends the 3-0 run. Gauchos get their first point here in this 3rd set. 3-1 is the score. Noah Alvarez joined by Ryan Osborne, Jared Hall, and Victor Vasquez. It's sophomore night here at Colleen Riley Court, the final home game for Fullerton College in this 2019 season. A successful season it has been. 13-10 on the season. 8-5 in Orange Empire Conference play as both teams rallying back and forth. This one going to be too long. The backcourt attempt from Webb. Another point for the Gauchos.
You like the idea by Webb to try to smack that one to the back row, trying to catch the defense off guard, but a little too powerful on that swing.
So it'll still be Riddell serving for the Gauchos, and this one's shanked by Kringle, who just checked into the game. Point for the Hornets. They end a 2-0 run.
And the Hornets really need the win, like I said before, if they want to make the playoffs.
They currently lead 4-2 in this 3rd set, tied at 1 set apiece. The teams have been going back and forth in tonight's action. Saddleback into their play set. This one's a cut shot, and Robinson finds the vacant spot on that Fullerton defense. Point for the Gauchos. 4-3, they trail.
We had a perfect angle of that shot, and just how she's able to just graze that ball perfectly in order to put it in a place where there's no Fullerton around.
Looks like she's been listening to a lot of Drake as well. Her and Carrera both hitting them angles as this one. Low serve by Dewar. This one just gets over the net. Hornets able to recover. This one going to be too long. Another point for the Gauchos as they tie things up at 4 apiece.
Looks like they tried going for a strike on that one, but apparently it was a little too much juice on there.
Dewar still serving, the sophomore opposite hitter from Laguna Hills High School. She has 22 service aces on the season. Also has 74 kills as she gets in the mix for offense. Here's Frew, and Frew angles this one towards that back right corner. Too hot to handle for the Gauchos. Hornets retake the lead.
Savoy wanted no part of that ball. She thought it was going to go out of bounds as she ducked her head. Unfortunate for her that there was enough space to get the kill.
Here's Chloe Johnson now to serve for the Hornets. Genstad crosses it over on the first touch. Gauchos are ready. Quick dump there by Johnson. Gauchos again were ready. Fullerton leads 5-4. Webb hits the deck to dig this one out. This one clips the top of the net off the hand of Frew. And Frew hits this one wide right. Point for the Gauchos.
Tiffany providing a lot of an impact on this Fullerton team. She's already had 3 blocks so far in these 3 sets that she's played.
So now it'll be Ronnie Robinson, the freshman out of Enterprise, Utah, wearing the white headband, serving, standing serve. Gets this one to the backcourt of Fullerton. Things are all tied up at 5 apiece in this third set. Both teams tied 1-1 in sets. This one, attack there by Roberson. It's going to be short. Point for the Hornets.
Looked like she tried to put off. Looks like she tried to put an off-pace kind of finesse shot to there, but unfortunately not enough to get over the net.
We want to welcome the viewers from both Fullerton College and Saddleback College. A reminder, you are tuned into Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK as Webb picks up another kill for the Hornets. They go up now 7-5 in this third set.
Well, that was quite another blast from Webb on that one.
Webb not only, I apologize, no, Webb also has 4 kills and 3 aces in this match already.
Roberson short again on this kill attempt. It's another point for the Hornets as they're on a 3-point streak.
All right, here comes another serve for the Hornets on this one.
Frew still serving, the sophomore out of Norco High School. Passing it over to Chloe Johnson, who sets it up for Tiffany. This one gonna fall right in between 3 defenders for the Gauchos, and that's gonna force Brian Hughes, the head coach of Saddleback, to call a timeout. The first timeout here in this third set. The Hornets have a 9-5 lead as the 2 teams are tied at 1 set apiece. Noah Alvarez, joined by Ryan Osborne, Jared Hall, and Victor Vasquez for tonight's action. A reminder, you are watching Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. Victor, Fullerton off to a quick start here in this third set.
They are, Noah, and you got to point out Nicole Tiffany. I mean, we mentioned it earlier on. She hasn't had a lot of playing time, but she started getting some more after the injury of Longstreet, and she's taken advantage of that opportunity. She's gotten key blocks. She has great kills already so far in this match. So if she can continue to put that performance, it'd be no surprise if she keeps getting more playing time, especially if they're able to make it into the playoffs. Yeah,
and this playing time is only going to make her better for next year. And if you think about it, this team, Fullerton College, could be a very dangerous team if all these girls stick around. I mean, think about how many players, impact players, are on this team that are freshmen. You look at Karen Delgadillo, the setter who gets most of the action, as well as Chloe Johnson, the other setter. Samantha Swanson, Nicole Tiffany, Faith Webb, who leads the team in service aces. And, of course, Mackenzie Genstad gets a lot of playing time at the middle blocker position. We've also seen Riley Vio get significant playing time. If all those core players come back, it's going to be a very dangerous team in 2020 for Megan Glennie. After the timeout, the Hornets bring out Johnson, Webb, Gutierrez, Tobin. Tiffany and Frew. This one's going to be long. It's going to be a point for Saddleback. They now trail 9-6.
It's already the third strike by Webb that's gone sailed long. Still trying to find her groove in this third set.
Roberson, Groh, and Riddell in the front court for the Gauchos. It'll be Savoy to serve. She's joined back there by Robinson and Dewar. This one's going to be wide left. Another point for the Gauchos.
As we go back, Noah, to what you mentioned, I believe the stat was 196 errors so far, so Fullerton going to have to try to improve if they want to try to take this match against the Gauchos.
Here's Savoy, and she uses a short serve, but this one's a little too short. As it hits the top of the net, it bounces onto the Saddleback side.
And here comes Mackenzie Canestan for the next service for Fullerton.
Mackenzie Jenstad, Hornets lead 10-7. This one's going to be a let ball, clips the top of the net. And a campfire as no one able to react quick enough for the Hornets is another point. Hornets lead 10-8 in this third set.
You could tell that Longstreet really wanted that block, try to prevent and nullify the point in order to not allow the Gauchos to get back into this third set.
Here's Ellie Groh. She uses that standing serve and she hits it at such a tight angle. And this one's going to clip the top of the net. 4-hit violation. Tiffany can't get it across. I think that was Webb from that left near side. Hornets still lead 10-9 though in this third set. Groh, she started out the year as a defensive specialist, moved to the setter position. Currently third in the Orange Empire Conference, and this one shanked by Sailor Frew. Brings things even at 10 apiece.
And again, no, it goes back to that standing serve, how she finds that angle, gets that ball to just almost go over the net. It's as if she's trying to aim for that let ball.
She entered tonight's match with 35 service aces on the evening, which was good for fourth in the conference. She trailed Faith Webb entering tonight's match. The two are going back and forth as Longstreet ends the Saddleback point streak there. Hornets lead 11-10.
Great awareness by Longstreet to find the gap in the middle of the Gaucho defense.
Here's Nicole Tiffany to serve for the Hornets now. This one gonna fall inbounds, point for the Gauchos. 11-11, things are all tied up once again.
As we have Hannah Tobin checking in for Nicole Tiffany. Tobin joins Gutierrez, Frew, Webb, Longstreet, and Johnson.
It'll be Tatiana Kringle to serve for the Gauchos. Here's Webb, tries to float this one over the double block. Riddell had quick reactions. Now here's Longstreet from the middle. She angles it too far wide right. Point for the Gauchos, they go up 12-11.
You could tell off the expression of Longstreet that she wanted that one back. She had a great angle, placed that ball just a little too strong because there was no Gaucho near that ball to respond.
Here's Kringle. Johnson dumps this one over. Saddleback was prepared. Here's the decoy by Saddleback. Webb gets this through the double block. Ooh, nice dive there by Riddell. Longstreet partially blocks this one. Keeps it alive for the Hornets. Gauchos lead 12-11 in this third set. Webb gets a block and it hangs on the net like a picture. Hung on the side of the wall. Both teams rallying still back and forth. They go. And this one, a miss hit there. Ricocheting off the bottom of her wrist. That was off the hands of Ronnie Robinson.
And Robinson just seemed like she didn't get enough air on that one. So as soon as she jumped up, she had no other choice but to either stuff that one in the net or not even try to get it over.
And looked like Robinson mentioned something about the wet floor, so her teammate and the referee addressing the situation. Things are all tied up at 12 apiece here in this third set at Colleen Riley Court. It's sophomore night for the Fullerton Hornets. Their final home game of the regular season. 13 and 10 entering tonight's match.
While the Gauchos are 9 and 12 coming into tonight's match.
This one misplayed by the libero and Savoy. Another point for the Hornets. They go up 14 to 12.
Another thing that the Gauchos are gonna have to improve on is their ball control. So far in this third set, had a lot of issues with trying to bump their ball to one of their teammates and just try to get an attack going.
Here's Webb with the jump serve, and you see that drop as it crops over the net. Webb has a very diverse array of serves. This one gonna be too long, off the fingertips of Robinson once again. Another point for the Hornets.
You like the idea by Robinson. She tries the slide strike where she jumps off with one foot, similar to a layup attempt in basketball, but she just kind of had too much momentum on that one and sails that one long.
Things are all tied up at 13 apiece now. This one gonna bounce off the block and tool out of bounds off the Gauchos. 14 to 13, Hornets lead here now.
Quite an even game so far, I must say.
Just as the previous two sets were, as Fru showing off her power, that ball bounced right into the serving area. Shows you how much strength she had on that swing.
Here's Samantha Swanson, and her serve is gonna be too short. Gonna force the ref to blow the whistle. If you're a Bay Area fan, you'll get that one. Samantha Dewar now to serve for the Gauchos. The sophomore out of Laguna Hills High School. Standing serve. Nice line drive serve too as Fru on the attack for the Hornets. This one's gonna tool out of bounds. Another point for the Hornets. They go back up 15 to 14 halfway through this third set.
I mean, we're seeing Fru now have an impact in this third set. She's zipping the ball right at defenders, and it's just glancing and ricocheting off of them. That's the type of attack you need if you want to try to take this third set for Fullerton.
Johnson now to serve. This one, first touch was initially shanked. The Gauchos are able to recover. Saddleback now getting into their place, and it was a backcourt attack. Kringle had to hit this one at an angle and couldn't get a good clean hit. Hornets go up 16 to 14. And that's gonna force Coach Brian Hughes of Saddleback College to call another timeout. Your score here halfway through this third set, Hornets 16, Gauchos 14. You are watching Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. Noah Alvarez joined by Ryan Osborne, Jared Hall, and Victor Vasquez for the final home game of the regular season for this Hornets team. And what a complete team, and what a team they have emerged and become.
They really have, Noah, and you got to point out sophomore Longstreet is just very risky that she's playing with the injury, considering that that's something that Coach Glennie wanted us to focus on, is that, look, she wants to play, consider this could be her last home game here at Colleen Riley Court, but she also wants to try to take care of her, not let her risk her future, because she wants to continue playing at the next level of a four-year college. But that's the epitome of this Fullerton College Hornets team so far from the multiple games that we've been able to broadcast and watch. They have the heart, they have that type of enthusiasm, and they enjoy playing together.
Yeah, that's the thing Coach Megan Glennie was saying to us before the game, is that she didn't put any pressure on Longstreet to play. This is strictly on the player, and what a gutsy performance this is, because you need your lower body, especially a lot in volleyball, but especially even more to play that middle blocker position. And she has that hang time. She has that great vertical. You thought going into this game, hey, is that knee brace or is that knee injury going to affect her at all? We haven't seen it slow her down at all tonight. After the timeout, the Gauchos pick up a point there. Ends a 3-0 run by the Hornets. Draws the score now to Hornets 16, Gauchos 15 in this third set.
And to reset the lineups for you for Saddleback, we have Robinson, Dewar, as well as Robertson, Carrera, Groh, and Savoy.
This
Off the ceiling.
Off the ceiling indeed, and it'll be a point for the Gauchos. Hornets, excuse me. They go up 17 to 15. They're up by 2. Sailor Fru still serving for the Hornets. was a redshirt at Northern Arizona University in 2017.
Nice dive.
Now the Hornets get into their play set. Here's Webb on the near side. Trying to make a diving attempt there is Roberson, but she can't hit it cleanly. It's a point for the Hornets. They go up 18-15 now and starting to run away with this one.
Great hustle by Chloe Johnson. She got that initial dive that was able to bump it over. Then she immediately got up to try to set it up and gave it off to Faith Webb for the point.
This one going to be inbounds. It'll be a point for the Hornets. They go up 19-15 in this third set.
Even Fru looked shocked because she was looking at her coaching staff saying, yeah, I got another ace.
Doing a little bit of everything for this Hornets team as she's done all season. Robinson thought about taking the approach, couldn't get into it. It's a free play now for the Hornets, but they can't do with it anything with it as Tiffany hits this one wide right. Point for the Gauchos. Ends a 4-0 run.
Noah, Robinson was very fortunate, and the Gauchos were very fortunate on that play because she was running right into Dewar. Lucky enough, Fullerton ended up hitting that ball out of bounds. Point for the Gauchos.
And that's one that Fullerton probably wants back.
Here's Shea Savoy for the Gauchos. She's been one of their top servers on the evening, and this one going to tool out of bounds by Groh. Hornets go up 20-16 now.
Groh just having to realize that she's got to point her hands in that direction to get that ball inbounds for the point.
Hand placement is key when you're going up for a block in volleyball, whether it's a double block, single block. This one digged out by Genstad, tapped over on the second hit by Longstreet, and Johnson can't hit this one cleanly. It's another point for the Gauchos. They trail 20-17 in this third set. Priscilla Gutierrez is going to check back into the game.
Riddle on that previous play just hanging in the air for the perfect time in order to rip that ball down. No defender on the Hornets team was able to respond.
Here's Ellie Groh. That low line drive, giving a lot of trouble to this Fullerton defensive set. They're able to get this one. Here's a play for Longstreet. This one gonna wipe off those double block and into the Hornet territory, and it'll be a point for Saddleback as they trail 20-18, cutting it closer now towards the tail end of this third set. A reminder, you are watching Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. We want to welcome the viewers from Fullerton College and also want to welcome the viewers from Saddleback College. It's been a back and forth game as the two teams are tied at a set apiece as Fullerton won that first set 25-16 if you're just tuning in. Then Saddleback, it was a dogfight for that second one, but they come out on top by a score of 25-23. Here in the third set, the Hornets currently lead 20-18, 5 points away from closing this out, but Saddleback starting to build that momentum. What have you seen after that first timeout called not too long ago by Saddleback?
Well, Noah and Jared, some of the things that you start noticing is the improvement of ball control. When this third set started, a lot of balls were getting grazed off of the defenders, a lot of receiving errors, but now as this set gets closer to becoming the end, you start seeing the improvement by these Gauchos in order to bump their ball to their teammates and give themselves an opportunity to at least set up an attack.
6 on the floor after the timeout for the Hornets is Webb, Fru, Gutierrez, Johnson, Longstreet, and Tiffany. As we get you the 6 on the floor for the Gauchos.
And Groves looks like she's going to serve this one.
Robinson, Groh, Roberson, Riddell, Savoy, who just touched that one, and Dewar. It's going to be a point for the Hornets after the timeout. 21-18 is the score now.
Unfortunate for Robertson in this third set, she's already had 4 hitting errors. She's trying to find some success. Hopefully she can get a rhythm going to help out these Gauchos.
She's been a little off tonight. Tiffany with her jump serve. Here's Robinson. No, excuse me, that was Riddell coming from that middle blocker position, powering it down towards that left side.
And what set that up was the nice little quick set by Groh that just did not give the Fullerton defense an opportunity to set up in rotation, and Riddell just whips that ball down.
Yeah, that quick set has given Fullerton fits all season long. We've seen a few talented middle blockers execute that perfectly. We will get into some of the top middle blockers in the Orange Empire Conference after this set. As this one's tapped over. Pancake, no! They said it hit the floor. Point for the Hornets. They go up 22-19.
I honestly thought that was going to be a pancake as well.
We all thought it was going to be a pancake. We're all hungry now here.
No, not
at KBPK. Someone bring us some syrup.
No.
And some butter, says Ryan Osborne. This one going to be a block by the Hornets. It's a lift, actually, they call on the Gauchos. Hornets now 2 points away. They are up 23-19. Ryan Osborne saying he'll only eat boysenberry pancakes.
And here comes Faith Webb with the serve.
Hornets are up 23-19. Gutierrez with another nice dig. And here's the Gauchos. Again, Gutierrez all over the floor in tonight's match. We'd love to see the hustle from that libero position, but it's going to be a point for the Gauchos. They're starting to cut it close once again. They trail 23-20 in this third set.
Now here comes Riddle with the serve.
Riddle. And this one going to be powered home for Longstreet. 24-20 now, the Hornets lead in this third set.
Longstreet already with 11 kills in this match. Again, injury not phasing her at all.
Nope, not at all. As you can add 11 of those to her 169 kills coming into this game.
This one tapped by Carrera, and she was in no man's land. So that's a point for the Hornets, and that's how this third set comes to an end by a final score of 25-20. So Fullerton goes up now 2-1, and we see them break the trend of winning that first set and losing the next three that we've seen in 2 straight games now, Victor.
Very much so, Noah. There's still, again, just going back to the words that Megan Glennie says, that you got to finish off this game strong. So even though they are up 2-1 in this match, they are far from done against Saddleback. So they're going to try to keep having that same success and energy that they had in that third set in order to try to take this match against the Gauchos.
Everybody's kung fu fighting here at Colleen Riley Court. You're watching Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. Noah Alvarez joined by Ryan Osborne, Mark Pavlovich, Corey Nalen, Jared Hall, and Victor Vasquez, my partners to my right, as we get you some statistics on the evening. Sam Longstreet, we thought that injury might slow her down just a bit. She says, no, not at all. Don't test me, don't question me. She has 11 kills already through 3 sets of action. Fullerton has a 2-set lead right now as they lead 2-1. Sailor Frew, also a big player in this game. She has 7 kills on the evening. And for the opposite side, Saddleback there led by Ronnie Robinson, their star outside hitter. She has 7 kills on the evening. They've also got a lot of good play from Ireland Riddell, as well as Kamalani Carrera. Both those players have 12 kills combined. So all the players getting in the action for Saddleback, where you see Fullerton more of a 2-trick pony, but that's where it was being missed when Longstreet was out, because then all of a sudden they became a 1-trick pony.
And you're right about that, Noah. You had Fullerton with Faith Webb, Sailor Frew, and Longstreet. And when you have that kind of 3-headed monster, you just have so much success on the offensive end, because you can get those power tips by Samaria Longstreet, or you get the nice swings by Sailor Frew or Faith Webb. So great to have Longstreet back on for Fullerton. Just to recap, first set was taken by Fullerton, as the score ended up being 25-26. Very close set so far in all 3 of them. Noah?
I was going to say, let's use this time before the 4th set to go over our first team all-conference. We don't have any visuals, but we are going to read off our first team all-conference. I'm going to start with the outside hitter position. I got to have Sailor Frew on there. I got to have Leah Cruz, their sophomore from Irvine Valley College. And then we saw her last Friday, Vashti Elias Romero. She's the 3rd outside hitter. She makes my first team all-OEC.
So, no, I'd like to add something, but we have the same exact 3 outside hitters. I also have Sailor Frew Leah Cruz from Irvine Valley College, and Vashti Elias Romero as my 3 outside hitters that I would want on my team.
Yeah, this is the first time we're reading these off to each other, so no planning of this at all, or planning to be the same as we're just about ready to start the 4th set. Let's go to the middle back blocker position really quick. I have Lily Johnson from Orange Coast, Sam Longstreet, of course, here at Fullerton College, and Kristen Austin of IVC. Those are my 3 middle blockers that I'm going to go with all conference.
So we still got 2 that we matched up. I also have Longstreet as my middle blocker. Lily Johnson from Orange Coast was a beast when they played against Fullerton.
Yes,
now
she was.
I highlighted 2 more middle blockers. I also have Jocelyn Martinez for Orange Coast and Keely Holber of Riverside. As we have game back in action here in this 4th set as the Gauchos take the first point. On the court for Saddleback is Kringle, Savoy, Groh, Dewar, Robinson, and Redill, as there's going to be a violation against the Fullerton Hornets. They ended up touching the net on that one, so it's going to be point for Saddleback. So Kringle continuing to serve. Sends that one over. Now Johnson setting up the attack in the middle for Longstreet. Her shot glances off of the defender. Gutierrez with another good dig. And now Webb with the off-pace shot gets the first point for the Hornets.
That's Webb's 5th kill on the evening. She's catching up to Longstreet and Frew, who have been doing a majority of the scoring in tonight's match for the Hornets.
And here comes the next serve coming from Faith Webb.
As Webb not only finding success on the offensive end with her kills, but also with aces. She has 3 aces so far in this match. It's going to be a far side attack by Riddle. You like the idea, but it goes long. So the score now is 2-2 in this 4th set. Fullerton on top in this match, 2-1. Webb continuing to serve for the Hornets. As Webb sends it to the back row. Now Groh with a dump pass on that one, but it's going to be a point for the Hornets as it ends up being a push against Groh. Score is 3-2. Fullerton on top. Faith Webb once again serving. Trying to add some variety and put some pressure against the defense of the Gauchos as Robinson ends up stuffing that one at the net.
Yeah, it looked like her momentum was kind of going towards the right middle of the court, but the ball was going towards that left outside, so she had to kind of contort her body in a weird way. She didn't get a clean hit on it. You'd like to see a better approach on that one if you're Robinson.
4th straight point for Fullerton. They're on top by 2, 4-2 in this 4th set. As Webb continuing to serve. Now Robinson gets a nice strike on that one, glances off one of the defenders, and it ends the 4-point streak for the Hornets.
And it looks like Ireland Riddle is going to be serving for the Gauchos now.
Gauchos down by 1, 4-3, as Riddle with a nice soft serve. And now it's going to be another dump shot by Longstreet. Point for Fullerton.
Her awareness is second to none. I know we mentioned it. I know we might sound like a broken record, but her impact is felt so much, 10 times fold in tonight's match, considering that she was out the previous 2 matches.
As the Hornets are on top, 5-3 in this 4th set. Swanson comes in to serve as Groh sets up on the near side for Robinson, who punches that one over. Now it's going to be a free attack, and it's going to be a nice bomb by Carrera.
And Carrera's done a really nice job on that, whether it's the first touch, second touch, or third touch. She's really done a nice job scanning the defense before or even while she goes up on the attack, and she places it right where that defense isn't.
Score is 5-4 in this 4th set. Fullerton still in control, as it's going to be Dewar for Saddleback serving. Stewart gets it over and ends up shanking right off of Faith Webb on that one as they tie this 4th set up 5-all.
the second ace for Dewar. And, you know, going back to Carrera, we haven't had a chance to see Saddleback on the year, so, you know, didn't have too many players on my list for all conference there, but she may get an honorable mention now with her performance tonight.
As Fru's shot ends up getting dismissed, but the rally continues. And now Robinson tries off of 1 foot, but she pushes that one too long.
I think that was a little too much power on that one.
That's a tough one to get a kill on. It's like a running hook in basketball. Your momentum's carrying yourself towards the middle of the net, but then you got to tap that one towards and trying to locate it while you're running towards an opposite direction. Pretty tough one to accomplish.
As we have Nicole Tiffany coming in for Hannah Tobin. She joins Genstad, Fru, Gutierrez, Webb, and Johnson, who is serving. Hornets are up by 1, 6-5. As it's going to be Groh giving off to Carrera. And now it's going to be a far side attack by Fru, who tries to cut that one, but it goes long. So now we have Robertson coming in for Kringle. She joins Carrera, Groh, Savoy, Dewar, and Robinson, who is serving. We're all tied up in this fourth set, 6-all. As Tiffany tries to bump it over, but mishits it and ends up in the net. Gauchos with their take the lead again in this fourth set, 7-6, as Robinson continues to serve. As no communication, campfire, as Noah likes to say, and another point for Saddleback.
And if I'm head coach Megan Glennie, it'd be a nice time for a timeout here. Maybe stop the momentum that Saddleback is currently building up right now.
Robinson continuing to serve for Saddleback. As Fru with a nice tip shot on that one to end the scoring run of Saddleback.
Fruna has 7 kills on the evening.
Fru now up to serve. She has an ace. She got it in the third set. Fullerton down by 1, 8-7 in this fourth set. It's a nice back set by Groh. And now Genstad trying to catch the defense of the Gauchos off guard. Good defense by both teams as the rally continues. Now Savoy setting it up in the back row for Dewar. Gutierrez trying to do all she can to keep that play alive, but it ends up being unreturnable.
And she was put in a tough situation there because Fru didn't get a clean touch on that first hit there. Forced Gutierrez into a tough situation, and you hear the two talking it out. 2 sophomore leaders here on sophomore night at Colleen Riley Court. It's worth mentioning both those players, along with Sam Longstreet, got a nice presentation before tonight's game. They had their family members walk them forward. They received roses and a team picture from their coaches, which is always nice to see.
Very special night for these sophomores as Riddle for the Gauchos checks in for Carrera. Now it's Savoy serving with a nice jump serve. Just gets it over the net. And Gutierrez comes with a nice pancake. Ball still with Fullerton, and it ends up being a violation. 2 hits by Fullerton. So now it's going to be Gaucho lead as the timeout is called by the Fullerton Hornets. Gauchos are on top, 10-7 in this fourth set. You're watching Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. Victor Vasquez alongside Jared Hall, Noah Alvarez, and Ryan Osborne. Jared, Noah, what are some of the things that you're seeing Saddleback do to kind of increase their lead and try to stay in front of Fullerton in this fourth set?
Well, I think they're adding a little more in-depth to the offense, apparently. And the defense, they're catching it off guard into the part where they're most uncomfortable.
A little bit more variety, too. And we're seeing better placement, better passes from Ellie Groh, which I think, like Jared was just saying, helps the offense grow and brings different options, too. Speaking of Ellie Groh, she's one of the 2 setters I have on my all-conference team. The other setter, Truth Hafey from Irvine Valley College team. So Saddleback, the lone Gaucho on my all-conference team, getting some love here. She does a little bit of everything, too. It was a tough decision when I was choosing setters because she leads, she's third in the conference in service aces too, so does a little bit of everything for this Gaucho team.
As for my setters in the All-OEC team, I actually have Truth Hafey from Irvine Valley College leading in assists throughout the Orange Empire Conference. I have Shayna Johnson from the Golden West Rustlers. I thought she was setting up a lot of her teammates well when they played Fullerton. And
That's
to
a good one.
my setter, I actually had a third, is Karen Delgadillo.
Ah, yes.
Game's back.
As we have the fourth set back in action. Now we have Faith Webb tipping that ball over as Savoy tries to do all she can, but it ends up being a double hit. Point for Fullerton.
Yeah, those are tough because she was running towards the out of bounds, and when it's at your chest level or torso level, it's hard to get a clean hit. You still want to keep your hands fisted, but you don't want to just punch it like that too because you have less accuracy that way. So she goes with the open hands, but she gets called for the double hit violation.
Genstad serving for the Hornets, who are within 2, 10-8, as Dewar on that one. Actually, Roberson was able to punch that ball to the right, find an open space for a point for the Gauchos.
Yeah, that was a nice one. It looked like Johnson and Longstreet both jumped the gun, went up for that double block as if Roberson was going to hit it down the middle. She said, hey, you guys jumped too fast. I'm going to put it right to the right of you where no one's at.
As Grove's serve clips the net. Now Longstreet having to bump it over. Free play for Saddleback as Robertson tries to get another hit and spike. As the ball ends up hitting the ceiling and Gutierrez having to give it off to Saddleback. And it glances off of Chloe Johnson for another point for Saddleback.
And we've seen Gutierrez every game we're here. She's very acrobatic for a libero position. I mean, she slides right there and she sees herself approaching the net, so she kind of contorts her body to where she doesn't cross the line. Props to her.
As the Gauchos are on top by 4 points, make it 5 with the ace. 13-8 is the score. Grow with another point.
See, that's why I put her on my all-conference team. Serves like that. Unservable, unreturnable.
As she continues to serve for Saddleback. 13-8 is the score in this fourth set. Gauchos trying to get back into this match that ended up being a violation actually against Fullerton. I believe they weren't in proper rotation. So that'll be another point for the Gauchos.
Yeah, it was the down referee, Mel Cayetano, to make the call. Coach Megan Glennie getting the explanation from him.
So now the score is 14-8 as Grow now moves from right to left to serve. She bombs that one over. Longstreet gets stuffed at the net. Has with a nice Webb with a nice save. And there's going to be a whistle. Point for Fullerton as another double hit, this time against the Gauchos.
Yeah, nice effort there by Webb, hustling out of bounds, and that awoke in the crowd too. We mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. Good crowd turnout, but there's been more that pile in as the game has gone closer to its end.
Score is 14-9 in this fourth set. Saddleback still on top by 5 as Nicole Tiffany now serving for the Hornets. As Grow, quick set right over to Riddell, who gets the deflection off of Tiffany for the point.
That is Riddell's 6th point on the evening, 6th kill, excuse me.
As we have Kringle checking in. Now she's going to serve for the Gauchos. She joins Savoy, Grow, Dewar, Robinson, and Riddell. As Longstreet able to find some success with that attack as she blasts that one through the defense.
Yeah, lucky number 13 and Longstreet bringing a whole new level and life of offense in that middle blocker position. She's been a sight for sore eyes for this Fullerton team.
Hornets down by 5, 15-10 is the score in this fourth set. That's a nice little back bump by Grow. Now Longstreet trying to get her second kill, and she's able to get that deflection off of Savoy.
14 kills now. Her number's also 14 too. That's the magic number for Longstreet tonight.
As Fullerton now trying to get back into this fourth set. 15-11 is the score. Faith Webb.
Let's see if Fullerton can pick up win number 14.
I knew Noah would come in with that one, as it ends up being another point for Fullerton, as the Gaucho defense unable to return the ball over. So now again, another scoring run for the Hornets, and it seems to always come at the hands of Faith Webb. Her serve is applying some pressure against this Gaucho defense, as Groh sets it up for the near side attack, as Robinson's able to penetrate the wall of the Hornets.
Yeah, it looked like Johnson went up before Longstreet did, so both of them were uneven in that setting that wall, and that's why when Coffin hit that over, that's why when Dewar hit that one over, it was to Longstreet, and she was a little further away from the net than Johnson was.
As Johnson now sets it up in the middle for Longstreet, but a good dig by Riddle. As the rally continues, Johnson trying to find Frew. It's going to be a free attack now for the Hornets, as Frew with another off-speed shot, and she is finding success with that shot now as this match has gone on.
And going back to that double block opportunity, to further explain it too, it's like a double team when you're an offensive lineman. In football, you want to be hip to hip when you're double teaming a defensive lineman or a linebacker if you're two offensive linemen going at it together. Same thing if you're two middle blockers or two players in volleyball going up for that double block. You want to see them going up hip to hip. That way there's no space and no room for error.
16-13 is the score, as it ends up being a miscommunication. Genstad unable to bump it to one of her teammates. So just when the Hornets thought they were getting back into this fourth set, Gauchos trying to pull away. They have a 4-point lead, 17-13, as Dewar ready to serve for Saddleback. And now it's going to be a far side attack by Frew, as the ball ends up hitting the net near the umpire, and it'll be point for the Hornets.
Yeah, tough one for Groh. She didn't know where she was at on the court, didn't know where the net and the antenna were behind her. I think if she were to jump and make a play on that one with, in making a bump attempt over on that one, I think she could have got it, but didn't know where she was at on the court.
As we have a substitution for the Hornets, we're actually seeing Karen Delgadillo for the first time in this match. One of my setters that I had on my all-OEC team. Let's see what type of an impact she can have, as Carrera mistimed her jump on that one, not able to hit it over.
Yeah, you saw her go up with the left hand just a little too soon, and it looked like her momentum was carrying her towards the right. You mentioned it too, Delgadillo, very talented at serves, does a little bit of everything for this Fullerton team. I like that pick, going for the setter. She splits time with Chloe Johnson, so she doesn't have the statistics sometimes as Truth Hafey or some of these other setters, whether it was Thea Snyder for OCC, another talented setter, or Shayna Johnson, the person that you picked. But I think if she got those starter minutes and played every single game for Fullerton on a consistent basis, like those other setters in the Orange Empire Conference, I think she could have just as high statistics.
And one of the reasons, again, you mentioned, she takes every opportunity she gets, and she's a Swiss Army knife for the Fullerton Hornets. Not only does she have 16, 17 blocks, but she also has 20 aces. She's able to get kills and obviously assist her teammates and find them and dish out perfect balls for them to kind of hit.
So how about your libero? I have Allie Wardlow from Santa Ana College. You weren't there for that game, but she's a very talented. She also leads Orange Empire Conference in service aces. And then libero Lauren Adamo from Cypress College. I thought she had a really nice game last week when we saw her take on Fullerton.
I'm really hoping that we would differentiate in a lot of them, but I also have Allie Wardlow for Santa Ana because of her impact on the Santa Ana Dons team. And my other libero is actually Terry Taquita Robbins from OCC. So now looking at my list, I have a lot of OCC players that just seem to have very big playmakers, and which is the reason why they're very highly ranked.
Yeah, they're currently ranked 16th in the state, but we were there for that game, and it just seemed like every player, they were so well-rounded. They could attack with anyone, and that game went 5 sets, as that was a really back-and-forth game between Fullerton and Orange Coast.
As Delgadillo's serve goes long. So now it's going to be point for the Gauchos. We have substitutions. We have Kringle taking a break as we have Roberson back in. And Delgadillo sits down as Chloe Johnson returns for the Hornets. Score is 18-15 in this fourth set as Frew comes from the near side. So much strength and power on that one, but it sails long. 19-15 is the score. Fullerton down by 4 in this fourth set. Robinson gonna continue to serve from the near side. She floats one across. And now it's Genstad trying to attack from the middle. Carrera able to push down, and that's actually gonna be a violation. It ended up being a lift against Carrera on that one.
I think they called it a lift, but I think they meant a push because she kind of cupped that one, kind of like you see a basketball player palm a basketball. Looked like she kind of palmed the ball as it was above the net, kind of cupped her hand and then threw it down, which, you know, makes it come down a little faster and with a little bit more control than just an open palm hit. So I like the call there by the referee Valenzuela.
Scores 19-16. Gauchos still on top as a miscommunication between Gutierrez and Webb. Neither one able to return the ball.
Usually you see Gutierrez all over those. She didn't make my libero list for all conference, but if I did a second team, I would have put Priscilla Gutierrez on there just because, like we said earlier in the broadcast, she contorts her body in so many different ways, not afraid to hit the deck, get dirty to make some of these saving digs.
As Savoy's serve unable to get across the net. So that'll be the first service fault for the Gauchos since the second set. Score is now 20-17 here in this fourth set. Another intense and close set between the Gauchos and the Hornets as Genstad serves now. Now it's going to be an attack by Riddle, who clips the net. Gives the Hornet defense an opportunity to recover. Now it's going to be a kill for Riddle on that attempt.
Yeah, and the Hornets look like they celebrated a little too early on that one. They thought it was going to hit out of bounds, but it just catches that in-court call made there by the down ref, Mel Cayetano.
The score is now 21-17. Groh able to clip the net on that one, but Fullerton able to bump it back. Free play now for Saddleback. As Dewar with a nice slide strike. As Longstreet's trying to get through the wall. And now Robinson having to run up. Fullerton scrambling as Fru's able to get it over. And it's going to be a point for Fullerton. Ended up being a push against Saddleback.
And you see the frustration in Grove's face. She was serving too, and we've seen a lot of talented servers here in the Orange Empire Conference, whether it was Ashley Corona with Cyprus, our very own Faith Webb here at Fullerton. Ellie Grove, I think she takes the cake on that one. She's been really special with those low line drives, and she gets the let ball that she has been aiming for all night long.
Score is 21-18. That's going to be a point for Saddleback. Substitution now as we have Kringle coming in for Robertson.
Dewar's been active. She only has 2 kills on the evening, but she's doing a little bit of everything as well, picking up 2 blocks, playing some nice minutes for this Gauchos team.
As a timeout is called by Fullerton. The score in this fourth set, 22-18. Another one going down to the wire. You're watching Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. My name is Victor Vasquez alongside Jared Hall and Noah Alvarez. Guys, another close set. What's going to be the difference maker for both of these teams?
Well, if Fullerton actually keeps the defense up and they actually make a close game, they can win somehow. And if the Gauchos keep the offense up, they will win.
And for me, Fullerton, still too many service errors on the evening. They have 5 total. You still want to see that cleaned up. If you're Saddleback, though, I think you're keeping the same game plan. This game plan has worked in the fourth set. You're seeing them getting it to Carrera in the middle. You're also seeing it mixing it up. I think that's what makes this team very special, is that they're able to get it to Carrera. Sometimes they're able to get it to Dewar. Sometimes they're able to get it to Riddell from the middle. And, of course, they have Robinson, one of their talented outside hitters. When you look at the stats entering tonight's game, I thought it was going to be all Robinson all the time. But you see them mix it up quite well for Coach Brian Hughes' squad.
As a rejection by Riddle gives the Gauchos another point in this fourth set. Score is 23-18. Pringle serving now for Saddleback. She's able to get it over. Bump is too strong by Gutierrez. Now it's going to be an attack by Robinson, who gets rejected by Longstreet, but it goes out of bounds.
And good awareness there by Dewar. It looked like she was going to go for the set, but saw how hard that ball hit off Longstreet on the block attempt. It tools out of bounds on Fullerton, but a good awareness by Dewar to pull her hands back and let that one go out of bounds.
Game point for Saddleback in this fourth set. Trying to force a decisive fifth set as Robinson with a nice off-pace shot, and she is successful with that one. And that is the fourth set advantage for Saddleback. The score is 25-18. Again, another close set again between the Hornets and the Gauchos. As now, Noah, we're back in the same situation we've been for the last couple of matches against OCC, against Cyprus. They seem to be in control some sets, and then all of a sudden their performance dips.
And that's expected with a young team like this. You know, when talking with Coach Tomicic, when talking with Coach Megan Glennie, throughout the season, that's the biggest thing, is trying to get these girls consistent, to play on a consistent level. And we mentioned it against Cyprus. They win the first set very convincingly and then lose the second one, lose the third one, win the fourth one very convincingly again, but they lose all that momentum going into the fifth set. Orange Coast, it was back and forth. Fullerton won one, Orange Coast won one, and that trend continued until the fifth set when Orange Coast won two in a row, winning the fourth and fifth set. But it's not the first time we've seen this, and this is a team that Fullerton, they're very young. Like I said, about 7 of their key players are all freshmen, and this is going to be the part of the growing pains. And I think they had that 8-game winning streak, and they were riding high on emotions, especially on the road too. That's not an easy thing to go into an opposing team's court and win a game like that. A lot of those were sweeps. Only 2 games went to 4 sets. So they were riding high on confidence, but they came back down to earth a little bit. Still a little bit of things to work on for Coach Megan Glennie and her squad this year, but you like their chances going into this fifth set here.
The one thing I have to wonder is, okay, where's the mindset at though? Because now this is where you start kind of getting that kind of feeling where it creeps in, where you're knowing, okay, who's going to have that success and who's going to have that right momentum as this fifth set starts up again.
And it has to be in their head too. They're 0-3 on the season when the game goes into 5 sets. They've only had 3 opportunities. We were there for 2 of them, against Orange Coast and against Cyprus. So we'll see what they could do here in tonight's match, going again to another fifth set. This is the all-important game though, right? These final 3 games, super important for Megan Glennie's team if they want to make the playoffs. Let's go ahead and finish our all-conference team, opposite hitters. For me, I'm going to go with Sierra Emil from Golden West College. And then my last final opposite hitter and the final player on my first team all-conference, Lucrezia Lualdi from Orange Coast College. Those are going to be my 2 opposite hitters making all-conference.
So I actually switched it up on you. I didn't have any opposite hitters, and now it makes me feel bad. So I actually try to give more shine to the middle blocker. So I mentioned I had Lily Johnson, Longstreet, and Jocelyn Martinez. I actually also added Hober, Keely Hober from Riverside, because she just provided such a disruption against the Fullerton Hornets like that. She was able to tip, block, deflect, any kind of item like that. So that was my actual additional player. And then as well as I mentioned for my setters, I actually added 3 setters. And my third one was Karen Delgadillo, again, because of the Swiss Army knife abilities that she has. She has so many tools that she can utilize on the court. Let's see where the focus is going to be for the Fullerton Hornets, though. I'm pretty sure they're going to go with Chloe Johnson for this fifth set.
Really quick, who's your player of the year in the Orange Empire Conference from the games we've seen?
I'm going with Leah Cruz for Irvine Valley College. She's one of the most efficient hitters in the OEC. I believe from the top 5, she has less than 100 striking errors. So that just tells you that not only is she precise, but she just knows where to place that ball and with how much power she should throw down. What about you?
I'm going to go with another Irvine Valley College player, but it's going to be Kristen Austin running from the middle blocker position. And because she plays that middle position, she doesn't get the amount of scoring opportunities that Cruz does get, but she's the vocal leader of that team. She gets a lot of blocks as well. She does everything really well. And if you look at the stats compared to some of these other players, they're not going to overwhelm you, but that's because Irvine Valley College is sweeping a lot of teams too. So when a lot of like Fullerton, Saddleback, Cyprus are going 4 or 5 sets, now Irvine Valley's like, hey, we're done in 3 and we're packing our bags and we're going, as we're just about ready for this fifth set of action. We want to welcome viewers from the Fullerton College side and the Saddleback College side as you are watching Fullerton College volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. Longstreet picks up the first point of this fifth set for the Hornets, a team that is 0-3 when matches go to 5 sets on the season. Something to keep in mind. Longstreet able to dinosaur dig this one out. She bumps this one over, gets blocked momentarily by Robinson. Now Saddleback scrambling and they can't recover. Hornets now go up 2-0. A reminder too, this fifth set's only to 15 points.
Great awareness. Even though the Gauchos didn't get that point, Robinson was already there anticipating Longstreet to tip that one over. Intensity is rising in this fifth set.
Faith Webb still serving for the Hornets, the freshman out of Yorba Linda High School. Hey, we were there just past Saturday for a Fullerton College football game. As we get more of the referees wiping down the floor. Webb to serve. Hornets lead 2-0 here in this fifth set. Both teams tied at 2 sets apiece. Here's Frew, and Frew hits this one a little too low. First point for the Gauchos.
Again, she tried to force that ball right through the wall of the Gauchos, but she just didn't get a clean hit on that one. Unfortunate for Frew.
She said that she slipped too, grabs the towel from the off rep, Camille Valenzuela, and wipes down the floor herself. Here's Frew again. This one ricochets a few times, gets over for Saddleback. I don't know how that got over. And this one shanked by Kringle.
Noah, and Frew was very fortunate because she thought she had that kill already. She was already turning around, and she just did not hear the whistle. Very fortunate that they didn't hit that ball right back to her.
Frew, a player that's on both of our all Orange Empire Conference first team. We'll await to see the official one released by the Orange Empire Conference in about 2 weeks from now. Still 2 more regular season games on the season for Fullerton College. They take on Golden West this Friday and then Santa Ana College next Wednesday, both on the road. Didn't call a lift there on Ellie Groh, and that's going to be a point for Saddleback College. They now trail 3-2.
And a great point, Noah. Seemed like she was lifting it back over to Carrera so she can slam that ball down. No call by the chair umpire.
We've seen Valenzuela and Cayetano make plenty of calls, plenty of good calls too in tonight's match. Fullerton leads 3-2. Robinson tries to power this one home. Tobin gets it over, but it's a free play now for the Gauchos as they backset this one for Carrera, and Carrera finds the soft spot for Fullerton. They now tie things up 3 apiece in this fifth set.
Great setup in the middle, and Carrera with the great awareness to know where the gap was of the Fullerton defense and just slams that one down.
Fullerton looking to pick up their 14th win on the season and keep their playoff hopes alive. And they, in doing so there, pick up a nice point. They go up 4-3, and if you're Saddleback, you're just looking to finish the season strong, and it never hurts to pull off an upset like this.
And Noah, this is probably the perfect opportunity for Saddleback to come up with the upset, considering the losses that Fullerton has faced the last couple of weeks.
Chloe Johnson now serving for the Hornets. Here's Groh, Robinson. Frew, too hot to handle for Savoy. It's another point for the Hornets. 6-3, 5-3 now is the score.
Savoy visibly frustrated on that play. She felt like she just needed to be a little bit quicker to kind of bump that one over and give one of her teammates a chance to continue the rally.
This one misplayed and ricochets off the hands of Kringle, and that's going to force Coach Brian Flores to call the first time out here. The Hornets are currently on a 3-0 run, and they lead 6-3 in this fifth and final set. A reminder, you are watching Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. Noah Alvarez joined by Ryan Osborne, Victor Vasquez, Jared Hall, Corey Nayland, and Mark Pavlovich, as things are back and forth as they have been for much of the season for this Hornets team. Let's see if they could pull this one out in the 5th set. It would be their first victory in a match that goes 5 sets.
And Noah, one of the key differences of those matches that we've seen go to 5 sets is that Fullerton typically never is in the lead for the first 5, 6, 7 points. So this is, different territory for them. So hopefully they can continue with using that energy and momentum to build and try to take this 5th set.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we saw Orange Coast play, but I remember very vividly Cypress, they went up 11-2. That's a hard hole to dig yourself out of if you're Fullerton College. Now they have the advantage up 6-3. Saddleback using good use of their timeouts, not allowing themselves to fall in too deep of a hole. The 6 on the floor for the Hornets after the timeout is Johnson, Webb, Gutierrez, Frew, Genstad, and Tiffany. And the 6 on the floor for the Gauchos, Carrera, Groh, Robinson. Here's Robinson with a kill attempt. Hornets scrambling. Savoy. And Robinson gets the kill there. Last 2 players on the floor for the Gauchos is Kringle and Dewar.
Johnson felt all of that strike of Robinson. She went full force with that swing, trying to get her team back into this 5th set.
You see more student athletes coming from their other sports competitions here to support the women's volleyball team here at Colleen Riley Court. It's sophomore night. Frew can't get this one over the net though. Hornets now lead 6-5. Saddleback chipping away.
This is where it's going to be key for Fullerton to hone in on their ball control. They cannot let the Gauchos get free points.
Ronnie Robinson, the Utah native, to serve, and Genstad's going to pick up the point for the Hornets. 7-5 is the score halfway through that first 5th set.
It's a nice zip by Genstad, finding the back line for a point for Fullerton.
Through with a nice touch on this one, on the serve. Carrera clobbers this one. Makes Gutierrez, hits the deck. Roberson hits this one too long. It's another point for the Hornets. 8-5, and remember, with that 8-point being reached, the Hornets now have to switch side with the Gauchos. Both teams doing so in the 5th set. It's very traditional in volleyball. Most of the time, though, the last 2 times we've seen the Hornets go into 5 sets, it's been the other team that gets 8 points first.
And that's where you start to think that, okay, Fullerton has the right mindset now. They're in the lead, they're in control, they're not fighting back as they typically have done in the previous 3 5 sets that they've faced off. We'll see if they can continue with the great play that they've had in this 5th set.
It's always a lot tougher when your back's up against the ropes, like Saddleback is now after making another error. 9-5 is the score, but it's always tougher when your back's up against the ropes versus if you're that person going against the guy on the ropes.
And Noah, not only is it tougher to have your back against the ropes, what makes it tougher is the high-level decision-making that you're going to have to start doing as well.
Frew has a costly service error that ends a 4-0 run for the Hornets. That brings the score now to Hornets 9, Gauchos 6. Hornets to lead by 3.
Riddle checking in for Carrera for the Gauchos.
It'll be Shea Savoy to serve now for the Gauchos. Low line drive serve, and this one's going to clip the top of the net. A little bit of a misplay there by Frew. Didn't get all of that one cleanly. And if you're the Hornets, you got to be very careful with Savoy serving.
And if you're Saddleback, you're really happy that she has the ball in her hands. They're within 2 points. Let's see how Savoy can continue to cause some chaos against the Fullerton defense.
In the black libero jersey, this is a short serve. This one gonna be shanked by Dewar. It's a point for the Hornets. They go up 10-7, 5 points away from clinching this one.
Faith Webb, great positioning, great jump on that one. Got a lot of lift, which obviously represents why she was able to glance that ball off of the defender.
Mackenzie Genstad now to serve. The freshman out of Troy High School played for Megan Glennie at the high school level. Dewar's going to be forced to bump this one over. It's a free play, and Sam Longstreet is all over that one. 17 kills, I believe, according to our stats, as they go up 11-7 now in this fifth set. Gonna force Brian Hughes to take another timeout for Saddleback College. They trail by 4. You are listening and watching Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. I'm Noah Alvarez, joined by Jared Hall, Ryan Osborne, Victor Vasquez, along with Mark Pavlovich and Corey Nalen. It's been a very back and forth this one, but it looks like, don't want to speak prematurely, but Fullerton's starting to pull away in this fifth set here.
And Noah, they're letting the game come to them. Something that Corey Nalen always tries to tell me in class as well is let the game come. So then that's exactly what's happening with Fullerton. They're just making the right plays, and they're giving it off to their playmakers, and that's just something that the reason why they have a 4-point lead in this fifth set.
Everything clicking for the Hornets here in this fifth set. They're currently up by 4. The 6 on the floor after the timeout: Genstad, Frew, Johnson, Longstreet, Tiffany, and Webb. Saddleback still huddled up, but we'll get you the 6 on the floor after they break their huddle. They're led by 5th-year head coach Brian Hughes. 2nd-year head coach Megan Glennie leads the Fullerton College Hornets. It's an Orange Empire Conference match as Fullerton looking to keep their playoff hopes alive. 8-5 in conference play. Saddleback just looking to pull off an upset here. They're 4-9 in conference play, currently 7th in the conference. When you look at the RPI standings, Fullerton currently sits at 13th. Want to have a little bit more room for cushion. That way they can clinch a playoff berth. And this one after the timeout, Genstad hits the top of the net. 11-8 now is the score.
So reset the lineups for you for the Gauchos. We have Groh, who's ready to serve, Robinson, Roberson, Riddle, Dewar, and Savoy.
It'll be Groh to serve, low line drive serve like she has all night. Webb tips this one over. Groh's right there to dig this one out. This one can't get over the net for Saddleback, and it's a point for Fullerton. 12-8 is the score.
Again, Noah, that ball control that Coach Hughes was mentioning to us in the pregame is just having an impact on these Gauchos in this fifth set. Just not able to get an attack going.
Tiffany now to serve, the freshman out of Whittier Christian. Played some big minutes past couple of weeks. This one, she shanks this one as she goes for the one-handed dig. 12-9 is the score. Hornets lead in this fifth set.
Now we have Hannah Tobin coming in for Nicole Tiffany, as well as Kringle for the Gauchos, who will now be serving.
Kringle, the sophomore out of Capistrano Valley High School. She has 3 service aces on the year. Brings in a nice change of pace for this Gaucho team. Here's Riddell from the attack with the middle. And this one, point picked up by Faith Webb, the freshman, doing big things here for Fullerton College. They now lead late here in this fifth set.
Longstreet with a big block on that one. And even when she didn't get the block on the previous attack by the Gauchos, she had an impact, forced them to adjust, and just pop that one right over her.
Webb now to serve for the Hornets. They're back at the top of the rotation already. Good news if you're the Hornets. Bad news if you're the Gauchos. And this one, a costly mistake here. Hornets now up 14-9 in this fifth set.
Again, ball control and placement has just been non-existent for the Gauchos right now. They're just having trouble. Still have a few points to try to get back into this fifth set.
So Webb to serve. This is for the final home game of Fullerton College's season. Frew. This one's going to tool out of bounds off a Saddleback, and that's how Fullerton comes out victorious in this one. That ends a 2-game losing streak, and they now move to 14-10 on the year, 9-5 in Orange Empire Conference play, while Saddleback now falls to 9-13, 4-10. Overall, Victor, what were some of your thoughts?
I mean, the heart that they showed, and you could tell that this Fullerton Hornets team just had a little bit more spry with Longstreet in the lineup. You would think, okay, depending on how she would play, she would only get a few minutes played, but I mean, she had a big impact, over 15 kills. She had over 6 blocks in this 5-setter against the Gauchos. So that to me just shows that, look, she's injured. We know she's injured. She is not 100%, and yet she's out there playing her heart out. You gotta love it.
Jared?
Yes. I honestly thought that the 5th set was all Fullerton after they got their momentum going. And apparently the Gauchos the wheels fell off on them in the 5th set as well.
So with the victory, Fullerton keeps their playoff hopes alive. We want to thank Coach Megan Glennie, Philip Tomacic, Cecilia Aragao, and all the players that allowed us to interview them and for allowing us to be here throughout the course of their season. We hope to see them in playoffs if they're somewhere local here. For Ryan Osborne, Victor Vasquez, Jared Hall, I'm Noah Alvarez. Thanks for watching Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK.